the weather they bring. Could be a set of our super safe Michelins for Mom's Taxi, or our sporty line from BF Goodrich that look great and handle even better, or a set of our Uneral tires for the student on a budget. Whatever fits your driving needs, Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center has the right tire just for you. So call 945-7131 or come by 3250 West 13th Street North. Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center, your friend in the tire business.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Today, the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Why? Eugene, go.
I think because Ford engineers always add new stuff, so the competition can't catch up.
Whoa, Eugene sounds like an expert.
Well, I got a store that sells exclusively bar-raising merchandise, like a calendar with an extra month.
An extra month?
Extrabuary. It has 32 days.
So you can appreciate the new 2018 F-150 raising the bar with available bliss with trailer coverage. It monitors your trucks and your trailer's blind spots.
How about our new bar-raising poker chips? You can play with them or eat them. So,
The new 2018 F-150 raises the bar with auto start-stop, standard on all engines, and an available 10-speed transmission.
We have sandals with available built-in socks.
And we are out of time.
Huge in Oregon.
This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Driver assist features like Bliss are supplemental and do not replace the driver's attention, judgment, and the need to control the vehicle.
Authentic menu items prepared fresh 7 days a week. And recipes with a deep family heritage of excellence. Those are just two of the ingredients that make La Hacienda Restaurant the best of the best when it comes to real taste of Mexico. Conveniently located in West Wichita at 5905 West Kellogg, La Hacienda is proud to be this year's host of the Bishop Carroll Coaches Show, Monday evenings from 6 to 7. Daily menu or drink specials and dinner-friendly hours beginning at 11 a.m. daily. The real taste of Mexico, La Hacienda, 5905 West Kellogg.
Plan ahead for a comfortable and safe winter by contacting Propane Central today. They'll conduct a free comprehensive check of your gas system and fill your tank and set you up with the payment and delivery options that meet your needs. Experience worry-free propane only from Propane Central. Give them a call at 316-744-6722. Again, that's 316-744-6722, or visit their website at propanecentral.com. Propane Central, the best value in propane.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
President Trump will be briefed this afternoon by U.S. officials looking into the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi by Saudi Arabian operatives, and then Trump says, quote, "We'll know pretty much everything there is to know." Only one ticket so far matches all six numbers in the Mega Millions lottery draw last night. The ticket sold in South Carolina. Nobody has come forward yet to claim the $1.6 billion jackpot. The Boston Red Sox came out swinging in the World Series opener last night, beating the Los Angeles Dodgers 8-4. Sox manager Alex Cora.
From the first at bat, and we put pressure on them, and that's what we do.
Business reporter Tom Busby tells us stock markets continue to be volatile.
Wall Street coming off a dizzying, wild session on Tuesday. The Dow down more than 500 points for a while after Caterpillar, 3M, and Harley-Davidson all warned that the president's tariffs on imported steel will mean lower profits this year. At the close, though, the Dow down just 126.
Stock futures down this morning. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Derby Mattress. No dancing animals, no gimmicks. Your locally owned hometown mattress store at 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly cloudy, a high near 64, 20% chance of showers after 4, rain expected tonight, low around 48, rain likely tomorrow before lunch, a chance of showers in the afternoon, cloudy with a high near 56. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios, this is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
They want the endorsements because they don't want to look as radical as what they actually are. And the Republicans that are endorsing them, they are showing not as a member of the Republican Party, but as an individual who is so desperate to fit in with the fads, with the trends. It's the retro thing to do, man. And I'm the Republican that supports the Democrat who hates the Republican agenda. This is the latest campaign because they can't win any other way.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray.
kicking it off 6 a.m. in the morning, or really 7 minutes past the hour. Welcome in to The Voice Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM, simulcasting as well on TV, KGPT TV channel 2610. Good morning and welcome aboard. Great to have you along today, whether you're on radio, whether you're on TV, or even the YouTube live feed, which tons of people jumping on first thing this morning. Welcome aboard. It's great to have you along. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. Boy, I got to say, we are now less than 2 weeks away from Election Day. I am really excited about what I'm seeing. And here's the funny part. The media has no idea what to predict or how to cover this. Yesterday, there was the story that said, look at this. Republicans can barely hold on to the House of Representatives. The Democrats, the blue wave, the early voting, showing the signs of Democrats really excited, showing massive turnout, really going to change the tide, and how the Democrats are going to destroy Republicans in this midterm election. Republicans, get ready, get wary, because you are going to lose in this midterm election. That's what we heard yesterday. Then I see a story from Fox News this morning, and it says GOP shows new strength in early voting as midterm fight for control tightens. Republicans showing strength in the early voting. Good Republican turnout for early voting. Now, the story yesterday from the Democrats was only from one county in Nevada, or Utah, whatever it was, and they had their early voting going on, and they're like, oh, look at this, Democrats showing up, and really nice when it comes to early voting. Now the Republicans are showing new strength as midterm fight continues, and maybe they are going to walk away with the dominance here. Then you see a headline on Drudge Report to where they talk about how the Senate slipping away from Democrats' fight to preserve the blue wave. Republicans maybe being able to hold on to the Senate. Now, look, we've said this before. I don't see us losing the House. I really don't see us losing the Senate. I see the Senate actually staying in Republican control, even with our only 2-vote margin that we have, because I don't see the blue wave actually happening. And now this is from the Associated Press. Senate slipping away as Dems fight to preserve the blue wave, struggling to see how they're going to maintain this. They don't know how to. They don't know how to report this. It's within the margin of error for both sides. Now, the predictions, whatever group it is that predicts these things, they say that there's an 85% chance that the House of Representatives will flip to the blue side and to the Democrats with a majority. But you have to remember as well, even though the 85% sounds really, really high, they had a 75% chance of Hillary Clinton winning the election in 2016, and that is in the margin of error. A 75, I don't know how you can actually predict things at a 75% chance and think, well, that's really close. That didn't make any sense to me. How does that work? But now they have an 85% chance of the House of Representatives flipping to the Democrat side. And I'm saying, well, it's in the margin of error, so it could go the other way. And we're ready for that and predicting that as well, because we're just not quite sure what's exactly going to happen. This is the lunacy that we have to live with. And we're like, can we just go and vote, please? Would you stop the predictions? Would you stop the guessing? Let us just go and vote, and we'll show you what's going to happen instead of you trying to be Mr. Crystal Ball person that's going to tell us what we're going to do in the first place. Voter turnout's essential. And I have, again, the precincts. If you want to go and do your early voting, a lot of people like to vote on Election Day. I mentioned the case yesterday that if Democrats go and do all their early voting early, they may take a lead start at the beginning, but then we show up on Election Day and we just take everything back, and that's usually the way it goes. They love the early voting because it gives them the opportunity to try and get people who to try and slip through the cracks, people to vote when they don't necessarily need to, try and register as many people as they can, feel like they're getting a head start, which is really cute. You pat them on the head and say, that's nice. Doesn't mean you get to vote on Election Day as well, which means that you made your vote count. Now we get to cancel it out when we actually show up. I'm still feeling optimistic. I may be the eternal optimist. I may be the one that's just looking at things on the bright side of the aisle here. But I think that right now, with our optimism...
Andy's optimism of the day.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think that we're actually going to still do very well, so I'm excited about it. 316-721-8255. We got a lot to get to today. We have Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, coming up at 7:30 today, in just an hour and a half from now. And we always love chatting with him on a Wednesday. In the 8 o'clock hour, kind of a unique and special different guest that's coming on the show. James Thompson, Democratic candidate for the 4th Congressional District, will be joining us. He did agree to come back onto the program after the last time. Now, last time, it was a very short interview. It was fun, but it was a very short interview, and he has agreed to come back on the show. So we'll look forward to chatting with him. in the 8 o'clock hour, and hopefully we can get a little bit more time with him and talk a bit more about his platform and, spar a little bit when it comes to idealism. So looking forward to that in just a few hours from now. But until then, it is open lines to you. We also have, I got to tell you a story from last night as well. And it really drives home with what we're talking about with the midterms, with the Democrats, with their mentality. Look, I find it appropriate. I find it comical. I know a lot of people don't, but I find it kind of hysterical. So we have our dog, and I told you about our dog. She's, a boxer, maybe a little bit of pit bull in there, a boxer pit mix, and she's a beautiful dog. And as you know, I'm not the biggest dog or pet person at all, but I do love the dog. She is a really great dog. She never barks. She can deal with the 4-year-old pulling on her and playing with her and dressing her up and doing things. She just lays there. She's never bit anybody. She's nipped like when she gets really, really excited and tries to play, but she's never bit anybody. She never really barks unless there's really a need to. She's totally house trained. She's a great dog. I do love her. And she's one of those where she's the really big dog, but likes to try and be the lap dog and try and cuddle all the time, which I'm not, I'm like, okay, thanks. Okay, lay down. Everything's fine. But at nighttime, it is always customary where, I don't know how I got to do this tradition, but it's every night I go and I grab the treat for the dog, so she goes to the kennel to go to bed. And she knows, as soon as I grab the jar and I grab the cookie, she's right there sitting there, and then I say, go to bed, and you've never seen a dog run so fast, and she's stumbling over herself, and she trips herself down the stairs, and she almost rolls down it because she's trying to run so fast to get to the kennel. Well, last night, she's sitting there, and we're about ready to go to bed, and she's sitting there, and she's jumping up on Mrs. Voice of Reason, on Tiffany, and she's jumping up, trying to lick her and trying to cuddle and trying to do all the stuff as we're going to bed. And she's sitting there in the middle of cuddling, and I grab the jar and I grab the cookie, and she drops Tiffany like a hot cake, and she runs over to me and she sits down because she's more excited about the treat than anything else. And I say, go to bed, and I get her really excited. Oh, you ready? You want this? All right, go to bed. And she slips and she stumbles herself and she falls down the stairs and she's running as fast as she can. And I stopped and I was like, wow, that dog runs faster and gets more excited about that cookie than a Democrat sitting on food stamps. Like, this dog is crazy. And she runs right up to her kennel, and she sits in her kennel, and she's just sitting there panting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm like, man, so that's what it's like for a Democrat waiting for their orders from the DNC. This is what it's like with a socialist on the ground waiting for what Bernie Sanders is going to say. Okay, yeah, Bernie Sanders, what do you got for us? So what do you got for us? Yeah, who's going to be the racist now? Who's going to be the terrible person? Who's the evil capitalist now? And I was just sitting here thinking, this is exactly how they feel. Because they don't think for themselves. They don't have their own thought process. They really don't. They're just waiting for the orders. And that's why I have such a hard time with dogs, because I love the dog to death. But, the dogs, they're so obedient in that sense to where they don't think for themselves. Cats, they're jerks, but at least they think for themselves. Now, we can't have cats because my wife's allergic to cats. And I don't really want a cat, and that's okay. But cats at least are a little bit more independent, and they're a little wild. And, hey, don't mess with me. Ha-ha. But dogs, they're so obedient that it's like, man, this is what it's like to be a voting Democrat, where you're just waiting for your marching orders. They wiggle the free goodies right in front of you and just dangle it in front of you, and then they tell you to go do something. You just hop at it, and you stumble over yourself, running so fast to go and do it because you're so excited to go get those free goodies. I thought it was kind of ironic. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. Coming up on the show today, other than the guests we do have, a couple of days ago, there was a debate for the 2nd Congressional District, and it's a seat that I think we really, really need to focus on, even here in the Wichita and South Central Kansas area, that it may not be in our district per se, but we need to be aware of what's happening there. Lynn Jenkins stepping aside. It's a vacant seat, and it is a brutal bloodbath between Steve Watkins and Paul Davis running for that seat, the Republican and the Democrat, and even a Libertarian, Kelly Stanley, which first off, I had no idea that he was actually in the race, and I listened to the debate, and Libertarian Party, what the hell, guys? Libertarian Party, do you even have a synchronized platform of what you believe in? Or is it just like a free-for-all for everybody? I mean, I guess that's kind of the libertarian way of just, hey, do your thing and I'll do my thing. But you got to have, at least if you're going to run as a major party, you have to have some type of at least basic platform that you at least agree upon to join the Libertarian Party. That's why the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are semi-successful, because they at least have a platform. Now, it doesn't say that the actual members of the Republican Party actually go for the platform, but we at least have a written mission statement and a platform on what we believe in. So we'll talk about that. I have some audio clips from that debate from the 2nd Congressional District that we will play in a little bit as well, plus the latest poll that we've heard from the governor's race as well. Big stuff happening today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to hear from you today as well as we roll along and get ready for the midterm elections 2018. The media in a absolute panic and frenzy. What's going to happen? Who's going to win? What are the predictions looking like? Will the House maintain Republican or go Democrat? Will the Senate flip? They don't know right now because we're hearing conflicting reports every single day. They're in panic mode because they don't want to look foolish like they did in 2016 all over again. Because if they do, if they lose again and they say that, oh, it's a 90% chance that Republicans are going to lose, the Democrats are going to take over the House, if they go down that road again and they end up being wrong and they lose, they're never going to be credible again, even for the little bit of credibility that they actually have left. So now they're backtracking. Instead of saying, oh, this is a sure fit in, this is surefire win for the Democrats, they will get the Senate, they will get the House, they will get the governorship, they will get this, they will. Instead of saying that, now they're backing off and, you don't know. We don't. There's a 75% chance, but that 75% chance is really, really close margins, which means that it could go either way. Give me a break. 19 minutes past the hour. It is a freedom-loving Wednesday right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason on the Mid-America Network.
Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network. The latest irrigation technology will be on display in December during the 2018 Irrigation Show. The event offers farmers and other industry representatives the chance to learn more about advancements in irrigation technology and practices. John Farner is Government and Public Affairs Director for the Irrigation Association. He says the event brings together multiple industries.
It is our annual irrigation show and education conference, and it is the opportunity for irrigation professionals from around the globe to come together and not only learn about the latest technologies that are out there, but also get the latest information and education associated with everything irrigation, turf, landscape, agriculture, sports, you name it.
For farmers, he says those who attend the show will learn how to better manage their yields through irrigation systems and technology.
What farmers can learn from the irrigation show is really how to help them manage their yield with the latest irrigation technologies, whether if a farmer's not irrigating right now, the benefits to putting in an irrigation system. If they are irrigating right now, how they can increase their effectiveness and their efficiency through different controllers or drip or sprinklers, etc., just updating the irrigation system, what that can mean to their bottom line and what the investment in irrigation can bring to them.
And Farner says the vast amount of advanced technology on display during the show offers farmers ways to make their operation more manageable.
There are a lot of savvy farmers out there who know the latest and greatest technologies that are out there, that are well-versed in the different types of irrigation, and others who just haven't been exposed to the different technologies that are out there. And those who have not been exposed have come to me and said how surprised they are on the vast amounts of technologies that are out there and how these technologies can really benefit them in their business and ways to increase their yield, to make their operations easier to manage.
The irrigation show is in December in Long Beach, California. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Then he goes up the racetrack, and here comes Kyle Busch.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs.
Down to the inside, battle for the race lead, they're side by side.
Race 7.
Kyle Busch to the inside, they bump.
And the final 8 playoff contenders have nowhere to hide.
Here they come to the line.
At the tiny Martinsville half mile.
And there's a massive crash behind them.
The First Data 500, Sunday at 12:30 on the Motor Racing Network.
Your home for NASCAR is the Big Talker, KQAM.
Fall has a certain feel to it, like no other. And if you're the type of person that likes to get things done outside, there's nothing like the feel of steel in your grip to get the job done. Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays has perhaps the best selection of steel power equipment in western Wichita, maybe south central Kansas. Check out the steel products that have earned the most praise from owners like you at Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays, 5204 North Mays Road, where we take pride in serving you.
Starseed offers excellent wheat seed treatment options. Our fungicides and insecticide packages help provide top-level performance in your crop. Starseed wheat treatments are proven in controlling numerous seed and soil-borne diseases while guarding against insect damage. Our family of products offers diversified solutions to tackle all those unwanted problems. Call Starseed today at 800-782-7311 or visit our website at gostarseed.com.
It's not even Thanksgiving time yet, so I'm not going to be the first one to drop the C word on the radio. But if you have someone on a gift list for any reason, might I suggest something that will stand the test of time? A quality timepiece from Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. Hundreds of clocks of every different size and style. While there's still time, take time. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. In the heart of Riverside at 1946 West 13th Street. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. 267-1925.
If you wear eyeglasses or just getting your first pair, did you know there's an eyewear shop that has 45 years of experience? Kent & Roxy Spectacle Shop has been framing faces for over 4 decades. The Spectacle Shop has hundreds of frames, including the exciting exclusive lines of Woo, Roger, and LA Eyeworks, and the State brand made right here in the USA. Your lenses? Kent & Roxy takes seriously the quality and precision of your corrected eyesight. Be independent, take a bold step for optical freedom, come see the difference for yourself. Visit Kent & Roxy Spectacle Shop, 306 North Rock Road, Wichita.
When we say Jewelry Savers is full-service jewelry repair, we mean full service. So, what do we mean by full service? For ring sizing, stone setting, soldering, and shank repair, come to Jewelry Savers. For lobster clasps, appraisals, prong retipping, pearl restringing, watch repair, and chains, shortened or lengthened, come to Jewelry Savers.
Think we're done? No way.
For watch batteries, watch bands, engraving, beads, and bars, resizing, cleaning, polishing, and a bunch of other repairs that haven't even been invented yet, come to Jewelry Savers. Hey, when we say Jewelry Savers is full-service jewelry repair, we mean full service. Jewelry Savers, K96 in Greenwich by Cabela's.
Hey, 24 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Good Wednesday morning to you. It is an honor to have you along today, no matter where you may be listening or watching. We love having you along with us. Getting closer and closer to the elections. I know that ratings and viewership and listenership kind of ticks up during election time for talk radio, which we appreciate and welcome, and hopefully you're tuning in here because you're getting information here more so than you ever are anywhere else in talk radio for the area. But as we do talk about the candidates, hopefully we continue on this trend and talk about them after the election as well, because remember, as soon as the election's done, we're going into legislative session in the state of Kansas. We'll have a new governor, we'll have a new makeup of the legislature, and then it's going to be what's going to happen next year. Tax rates, spending, Medicaid expansion, schools, constitutional amendments, Supreme Court, Second Amendment rights. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. So get ready. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully you are checking out, by the way, the YouTube Live. We did post the link to Facebook on the KQAM page, the Voice of Reason page, everything else. So if you want to find it, you can go to youtube.com, find KQAM Radio. You can subscribe. We have a good amount of people subscribing already to the channel, which means you get a notification every time that we actually go live on YouTube. And a lot of individuals jumping on this morning already saying good morning on there. We love that. We appreciate it very much. We may do another giveaway today. If you want to go on, just leave a comment on the YouTube live feed. Say good morning to us. We'll do a random drawing at the end of the show and give something else away because, well, you know what? We want to get that information out to you. Or you can go to Facebook.com. Again, go to KQAM, go to the Voice Reason page, and you can find the show lineup, everything going on in the show today, and the link to the YouTube feed that'll send you directly to that. Hey, I want to remind you real quick of our Spook Fest 2018. We've been going on about this for a while, and you have really just about a week left with Halloween around the corner. But pumpkin patches, haunted houses, corn mazes, all the fun festivities in the South Central Kansas area. You have an opportunity to partake in those festivities with the family. Take the family out, go to a corn maze, go get a pumpkin, go carve your pumpkin this weekend. And if you're wondering, hey, where's a good place to go? Locations, information, schedule of events, prices, all that stuff is at kqamradio.com. You'll see the list of pumpkin patches and haunted houses in the area. You click on them. They hyperlink to their website with their prices, with the location, information, all that good stuff. It's our Spook Fest 2018, brought to you by Rancho Nuevo Mexican Restaurant, Jack's North High Carryout, and Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry. Spookfest 2018 and KQAMradio.com. Let's go to the phones. Get your thoughts this morning. 316-721-8255. Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, good morning, Andy. It's Deacon.
Deacon, what's going on, sir? How you doing?
Man, it is a beautiful day out here.
Absolutely. I love it today.
Yeah. It's starting to sprinkle a little bit, but that's all good. Hey, I got two things I got to say to you.
Go for it.
One, about the angry guy yesterday, right before the end of the show.
Yes.
Mr. It's too late. It's not too late. As long as one red-blooded American is still drawing breath and willing to fight, we're not done.
Absolutely. You're right. I mean, I agreed with him that we should have been addressing these things a long time ago, but you're right. It is never too late. As long as we are breathing, as long as we are fighting, as long as there's one individual that says liberty is important and I'm going to fight for that liberty, it is never too late. We can always turn around and we can always fix it. We can never just say, you know what, it's too far gone, we can't do anything about it, I'm just going to give up. We can never, ever do that, and I will never stop doing that.
That's right. You know, if you've got a defeatist attitude, you're already defeated. So,
sure.
You know, you got to have a positive attitude, and you got to know, hey, I can make a difference. I can do something, and we as a group can get it done.
Exactly.
You know? And the second thing, I got to tell you, dogs are not Democrats, all right? You can teach a dog that there is rewards in working.
That is true. That is true. You know, if you had the dog for a purpose like that, for working, whether it's a sheepdog, whether it's rounding things up, whether it's for protection, you're right. Dogs are very valuable in that sense, but the ones where you just have them just to have, I do find it funny. And the way she jumps at it, the way she is so excited about that treat, it is so, I just chuckle at it. I was like, man, look at this. This is exactly how Democrats get so excited when they get their free EBT card or they get that food set. They get that free goodie. They are so excited. They're jumping up and down, and they will run to no end just to get that thing because they are so excited.
Right, like Chris Rock talking about the welfare carols. It's the first of the month.
Yeah,
You know?
see? That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Well, you have a great morning, brothers. Good talking with you.
Hey, I love it, Deacon. Always a pleasure, my friend. 316-721-8255. No, I know dogs are great. If you're a dog lover, don't think that I'm hating on the dogs here. I'm really not. I thought it was funny. And you're right. I tell you what, our dog, even though she never barks, she does bark for one purpose, and if there's an issue where she thinks something may be happening when it comes to protecting the family. There was, we were in the other room one night, and a paper fell off the fridge, and it made a big clunk, but it sounded kind of weird, and she started growling and barking and ran in there, darted in, seeing what the heck's going on, and she was cool. So she's good. Don't get me wrong. Totally dig it, but boy, I tell you what, she just, I saw the flash before my eyes. I'm like, wow, there's the socialist Bernie Sanders right there. I'm so excited. There's a free goodie that came from somebody else. Yeah.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
Top Trump administration immigration officials and White House advisors are described as still evaluating their options to deal with the massive caravan of migrants and refugees slowly working its way through Mexico toward the U.S. border. And Abby Phillip reports Mr. Trump will deal with a high-profile international issue this afternoon.
President Trump today is expected to meet with his CIA director, Gina Haspel. Now, Haspel just returned from Turkey, where she was getting briefed on the ongoing investigation into the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, that Washington Post journalist. She's expected to brief the president about what she learned on that trip.
Just in from Istanbul, Saudi officials won't allow Turkish police to search a garden well in Saudi Arabia's consulate where Khashoggi was apparently killed. The Red Sox beat the Dodgers last night in Game 1 of the World Series, and somebody has won the record $1.6 billion Mega Millions jackpot. The ticket was purchased in South Carolina, but that's about all that's known this hour. Pre-market trading showing losses across the boards on Wall Street. I'm Michael Toscano.
By the time that we got up there, his room was filled with smoke.
The wind had blown and drifted the snow up against the side of my house, blocking the exhaust from my furnace.
I heard the smoke alarm going off in my friend's apartment.
Without the kid's smoke alarm, my son would not be here today.
And had it not been for that carbon monoxide detector, they would come to school and not have their teacher there.
I grabbed my fire extinguisher and put out the fire.
Kidda makes technology that saves lives.
Get these essential products at the Home Depot.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now, 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Authorities say a woman involved in a collision that killed 3 people in Kansas has been captured in Nebraska. Jackson County, Kansas Sheriff Tom Morse says that 49-year-old Maria Perez Marquez of Omaha was arrested by U.S. Marshals yesterday. Perez Marquez is charged in Kansas with 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter after a crash in November last year near Holton that killed the mother, sister, and uncle of 2 Kansas high school football players shortly after the family watched the boys' Sabetha team win a state football championship. A federal jury has convicted a Kansas doctor accused of unlawfully prescribing pain medication blamed in one patient's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office said in a news release yesterday that 57-year-old Stephen Henson of Wichita was convicted yesterday of unlawfully distributing methadone and alprazolam, the use of which resulted in the death of a victim in July of 2015. Mid-America Network News. American Family Insurance offers you the protection you need to pursue your dreams, even if you take a couple of wrong turns. At American Family, we know your car is more than 4 wheels that get you from point A to point B. It's freedom to pursue the things important to you, which is why you want to make sure you have the proper protection. To learn more, get a quote. Contact local American Family agent Brad Woody at 265-6200.
American Family Insurance.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin, 53783.
After 44 years as Shire Signs, Park City's Shire Signs is now Shire Graphics, with the highest quality of big truck and fleet logos, as well as vinyl decals and other vehicle graphics. Shire Graphics will still provide the highest quality of those items, and now is leading the area in digitally printed vehicle wraps. Superior quality digital vehicle graphics from Shire Graphics. Our niche is your need in vehicle graphics, from single vehicle to fleet. Shire Graphics at shiregraphics.com.
Hello, Kansas. This is Phil Martinez from Phil's Coins. Phil's Coins at 9344 West Central in Wichita is the largest coin dealer in Kansas, and I pay top dollar for your coin collection and precious metals. Buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity. It's not just a catchy slogan to get you in the door. It's a philosophy that we've operated under since I first opened Phil's Coins. We buy, sell, and trade it all, and we do it each and every day with honesty and integrity. Talk with the rest, and then do business with the best. Phil's Coins at 9344 West Central.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly cloudy, a high near 64, 20% chance of showers after 4, rain expected tonight, low around 48, rain likely tomorrow before lunch, a chance of showers in the afternoon, cloudy with a high near 56. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
If Andy drives you nuts,
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
let him know. Call the show, 721-8255. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, welcome into it. 35 minutes past the hour. It is great to have you along today. It is a freedom-loving Wednesday, which we do each and every day, waking you up the best way we know how to possibly do so. Better than a cup of coffee, a shot of espresso, even an energy drink right here on The Voice of Reason. Welcome in, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. So the latest poll in the governor's race here in the state of Kansas, KWCH, with this one as of 9 p.m. last night. The new poll unveiled about the governor's race Tuesday showed little separation between the Republican Chris Kobach and Democrat Laura Kelly. The survey by Public Policy Polling conducted last Wednesday, the 17th, through Sunday, showed Kelly and Kobach registered at 41%, tied. Still, 41% with independent Greg Orman at 10% and Libertarian Jeff Caldwell at 2%. I guess Jeff Caldwell's numbers did go down a little bit. Maybe what we've talked about has helped a little bit. Is it really worth voting for someone that's going to get 2% of the vote? And I did something special. I don't get that. Okay, but I mean, all your prerogative. Independent Greg Orman, he's finally broken double digits, baby. Yeah, he's feeling really important there, and 10% going to him. And again, I still have yet to see any yard signs where there is a non-Democratic yard sign along with the Greg Orman yard sign. So I don't know, maybe he's being able to pull in some Republican support. I think majoritively it's going to the Democrats. But here's the crazy part. Maybe he is pulling some Republican support because, according to the same poll, in a two-way race between Chris Kobach and Laura Kelly, Kelly holds only a 4% lead with 8% undecided. And by the way, 6% undecided when all the candidates are on there. So here's the interesting part. There are still individuals that are up in the air and undecided. Now, I have a hard time believing that, and I always have a hard time believing that. Maybe there's a few, I would say a 2 to 3% margin where they're just like, I don't know. I'll just go to the poll and figure it out when I'm there. There are some that do that, and I would encourage those individuals to not vote. Now, obviously, they have the right to vote. I'm just saying I would encourage them not to vote, because if you don't understand the candidates by now, the vast differences by now, and you're so up in the air, and I don't know. If you are undecided like that, I'd really love to hear from you. Honestly, truly. Not to mock you, not to make fun of you. I'm truly, honestly interested in why you're still undecided. Because you know the vast differences between the candidates and what they stand for and the polarization that we have going on right now. And if you're still undecided at this point, that either means you're not paying attention or you don't care. That's the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But that's the only way I see it. If you are undecided 2 weeks away, week and a half away from election time, and early voting is happening right now, then either you don't know or you don't care. And if you don't know, that means you're not paying attention. If you don't care, then I hope you don't vote and try and cancel somebody else's vote out just because you want to go and vote, but you just don't care about what actually happens in the end. That's dangerous. That's stupid. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Now, you would think that predominantly the Democrats or the mod Democrats or whoever it is that doesn't like Laura Kelly are the ones that are supporting Greg Orman. As I've mentioned, I've seen house after house after house and property after property where it's a Laura Kelly, or not a Laura Kelly, but a James Thompson sign and a Greg Orman sign, or some Democrat sign and a Greg Orman sign. And I have yet to see any Republicans with a Republican sign and a Greg Orman sign. I haven't seen it yet. So my mentality is the majority of people voting for Greg Orman are predominantly Democrats. And right now he's pushing it at about 10% with the latest poll. Libertarian Jeff Caldwell at 2%. That's about right. The Libertarians, the very, very small, tiny margin that say we want to stand on our principle and we want to go off the cliff holding our flag high and saying that we did something proudly by voting for somebody that's not going to win. And that's about right, 2%. Now there's a 3.7% margin of error, which means that right now with Chris Kobach and Laura Kelly tied at 41%, there is a 4% margin one way or the other for either of the candidates. And here's the crazy part. According to that same poll, according to KWCH, in a two-way race between Laura Kelly and Chris Kobach, Kelly holds a 4% lead with a 4% margin of error. So even in a two-way race between Laura Kelly and Chris Kobach, they are still absolutely tied, which means that the vote for Greg Orman maybe is divided half and half for Republican and Democrat. So maybe, and if you're a Republican that is voting for Greg Orman, let me know why. Let me know why. I've been under the assumption that predominantly Democrats are supporting Greg Orman, or individuals that are maybe unregistered that maybe have left-leaning tendencies that are voting for Greg Orman. So I ask you, if you are maybe not a Republican, but maybe a conservative, maybe a right-leaning unaffiliated voter, you're registered, you vote, You're active. You just don't like the two parties. You don't like the two parties. You don't like where the Republican Party is right now. If you're one of those, let me know why you're voting for Greg Orman. Let me know why. I'm curious. If you were voting for Laura Kelly, I want to know why. If you're voting for Jeff Caldwell, I want to know why. I'd love to hear the different ideas right now and the different justifications for who's voting for who and who's supporting who at this time. Because I've been under the assumption that conservatives predominantly are going towards Chris Kobach. Now, is it the marijuana thing I know that we've talked about before? And that's the reason why, you know what, we're done with the Republicans. We're done with Chris Kobach. He's anti-pot, so therefore we're anti-Kobach, and we're going to vote for Greg Orman. And is that the reasoning why, or other reasons why a conservative-leaning individual would go for Greg Orman? Because right now he is polling 10%. And that's a little bit more than what usually independents go, but it's still not surprising that he's barely breaking double digits. That he's barely, the last poll that we saw about a month ago, he was sitting at around 7 to 9%. He wasn't quite at the 10% margin, and people are excited. Hey, the third party's going to pull it off this time. I could have told you that. I could have told you these numbers. That's what we've been saying. It doesn't work. And he's pushing hard, too. And I don't know how long you can go with the both parties are evil, so let's go for the third party. Both parties are terrible, so let's go for the third party. I don't know how long you can continue that thing, but he's doing it. That's how he's running. And it's given him a couple of points, I guess. But 10% margin right now, but a head-to-head race between Laura Kelly and Chris Kobach. A 4-point lead for Kelly with 8% undecided. And a 4% margin of error, meaning that they are still neck and neck tied with 8% undecided. How do we reach, and here's the big question, how do we reach that 6% undecided with everybody on there and with 8% undecided if it's a head-to-head? How do we reach those undecideds? How do we get them to look at the issues, to look at the candidates, and to say, you know what, all right, now I'm going to make a justified vote, an educated vote, and I actually make my voice heard in a proper way. And regardless of whoever candidate they end up voting for, Chris Kobach or Laura Kelly, regardless of whoever they vote for, at least it's an educated vote. Not just I don't know, I'm going to show up. Whatever just happens at the time. I don't want to see that. It's like the millennial that just shows up. Yeah, man, we're going to fight for this. Yeah. Okay, what do you believe? I don't know. Whatever Bernie Sanders tells me to. I'm the lapdog waiting for the treat. I'm waiting for them to dangle the free college in front of my face so I can vote for it, because that sounds really, really cool. Is that what we've come to today? Or maybe the popularity contest. Who looks better? Who looks better up on stage there? Are they suave? Maybe they're too stiff. Maybe they look too much like a politician. They're wearing the suit all tight and fancy. They got the shiny new suit. I don't like that person because they're wearing a suit. We can't be voting for something like that. That stuff is trivial. That stuff is ridiculous. What's the ideas? What are they going to stand for? What are they going to vote for? 316-721-825. I truly, honestly curious if someone wants to vote for something for Laura Kelly, Chris Kobach, or Greg Orman. Why? What's the driving force to get you to the polls this year? 316-721-8255. According to the Kansas City Star, there is the battle between different unions right now, between the firefighters union and the police unions in the state of Kansas, as they are divided on what candidates are actually endorsing and supporting. As you know, this happened about a month or so ago, but for firefighters and first responders, the firefighters union in the state of Kansas endorsed Republican Chris Kobach, but the police are siding with Democrat Laura Kelly. Now, that one baffles my mind. I am completely confused on this, where the police union of Kansas has endorsed Laura Kelly. Why? Why in the world would the police endorse a progressive liberal candidate when we live in a world right now where the progressive Democrats absolutely despise cops? Does that make any sense to anybody? I'm really confused by that one. How is the police endorsing a Democrat when the Democrats are saying the cops are pigs, the cops are evil? Colin Kaepernick's the superhero right now. We need to be kneeling for the national anthem. We need to say that we need to reform the police system. We need to hate on cops. We need to do this. We need to do that. That we need to act out against the cops, then play the victim when the cops arrest us. These are the progressive Democrats that are advocating for that. No, Laura Kelly may not have specifically. But she's under a party where that is their main platform right now, where cops are evil, where everybody else is in the right, where cops are racist, where cops are bigoted, and we need to hate on the cops. That's the party platform right now. I'm really, really confused by this. So either they're not aware of what the national mantra is against cops right now with the Democrat Party, or they really, really, really hate Chris Kobach, which I don't understand either. Now, they may be saying, you know what, the whole thing about illegal immigration and trying to enforce it, not be a sanctuary state, and Chris Kobach has been somewhat critical of the police in that sense of saying that we need to have the authority at the local level to do so. We've talked with Sedgwick County Sheriff Jeff Easter, and he's like, yeah, we can't do that. First off, we don't have the authority to enforce immigration. Second off, we don't have the manpower to enforce it. Third off, we don't want the manpower or the money or the resources to do that because that takes our law enforcement at the local level to an entirely new level. So if that's the reason why, then I can kind of see it. But at the same time, a Democrat? Laura Kelly? The Democrat Party that absolutely hates cops right now? I don't... that one makes no sense. In August, Kobach won the endorsement of the Kansas State Council of Firefighters, according to the Kansas City Star, the state's largest firefighter union and a group that is long-sided with Democrats. Bit of a shocker on that one. On Monday, the Kansas Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Laura Kelly, opening a police-fire divide. The split showcases the fire between the two candidates for support for unions, which often backs Democrats, but still Kelly is leading the count with Kobach as one over one union. Several others are going to Laura Kelly, and she continues on to say, I think all you need to do is look at the laundry of lists of union organizations that support me, the FOP from just one more of those, and goes on. I mean, I get it. Public unions predominantly go to the Democrat. Maybe it's because of the benefits. Maybe it's because of the pension plans. Maybe it's because of the government spending. I can see all that. At the same time, is it really the time for law enforcement to say, you know what, we're not going to endorse a Democrat anymore. The Democrats are coming after us left and right. And even though they may be taking care of our unions, they're not taking care of the law enforcement on the streets, and that's a dangerous thing. Again, really shows the makeup of the union and the lack of priority. Is it really representing the people they say they're representing, or is it representing their own special interests? Endorsing the Democrat because of the pension plans for the union workers, for the public union, because the Democrats predominantly focus on that to try and take care of them more, as opposed to saying, Democrats hate cops on the streets. Democrats encouraging the whole acting out against cops. Democrats encouraging the whole we hate cops because they're a racist thing. And Democrats predominantly advocating for this kind of mentality. And the union's going to endorse them? You know I'm not a fan of unions, right? And I think this is another example of it where the unions have their interest in mind as opposed to the individuals that they represent in mind. 3167. Maybe you can explain that one to me. I don't get that, but let's go to the phones to get your thoughts on it. 316-721-8255. Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Happy Wednesday.
Hey, I think it's Myron. Hey, I tell you what, give us a call back. You're a little muffled right there. Try and give us a call back here. 316-721-8255. Line number 2. Let's go back to it here. Good morning. What's your name?
This Jim.
Hey, good morning, Jim. How are you?
Real good, Andy.
Good.
Hey, I'll tell you what burns me up more than anything is these hypocrite rhinos on TV saying, I'm a lifelong Republican and I'm going to vote for Laura Kelly. Mm-hmm. They're lying right in the next sentence. That really bothers me.
You're right. We talked about this a couple of days ago, but first off, I don't know why there's so many Republicans being proud of saying I'm going to support a Democrat, and I'm really interested on why so many Democrats who absolutely hate Republicans are so excited to show that they have Republican endorsements and support. If they despise Republicans for what we stand for and that we're the racist group or the bigoted group or terrible human beings, why they're so excited to hype up the fact that they have Republican endorsements? I don't get that.
Yeah, even former governors and things. It really shows who they really are. That's what it really does.
What's sad is that it sounds like we have not had a solid conservative governor in a really long time, other than Sam Brownback that was semi-conservative, because every other living Republican governor, actually every other living former Kansas governor other than Sam Brownback, has now endorsed Laura Kelly. Is that a sign that Chris Kobach's crazy, or is that a sign that we have not had conservatism in Kansas for a while?
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate your show.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. You're right. They're loving that. They're eating it up. They are soaking up the fact that we have, oh, look at this, so many Republicans endorsing the Democrat. They're endorsing Laura Kelly. They're endorsing, we played the audio clip, the commercial from Brian McClendon running for Secretary of State, the Democrat. I'm a Scott City farmer, and I'm a lifelong Republican, and I vote for Brian McClendon. Really? First off, why are you voting for a Democrat? Why is it so important to vote for a Democrat Secretary of State? Because you hate Chris Kobach so much? And why is the Democrat who hates Republicans and going against the mantra of Republicanism and Chris Kobach so excited to have a Republican endorse him? If they really are a Republican. That is the big question, isn't it? So weird. This election taking things to an entirely new level. Then we heard about the nasty attack ads are going against Republicans again. So it's only okay if you're a Republican that endorses Democrats for Democrat views because the Democrats hate Republicans. Then it's okay to be a Republican because it's like the self-hating white person where they apologize for being white because of the white privilege thing that you hear in the Democrats right now, to where if you're white and you're a male especially, then you're the most privileged person in the country and you're a terrible human being and you need to apologize for that. That's kind of the mentality right now from many of the Republicans. I'm a self-hating Republican. I'm a Republican, but I don't like what Republicans do, so I'm going to support the Democrat and be proud of supporting a Democrat because I hate Republicans. Like, are you self-hating Republican now? What is this? You can leave the Republican Party, you know, if you don't like the platform. Let's go back to the phones. Line number 3. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, happy Tuesday.
Hey, there we go, Myron. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, sorry I had you on speaker so I could listen to both sides. Couple things I noticed. I've been out knocking doors. The flyers, things that the Democrats are touting is, oh, we're going to balance the budget. Well, the law requires the budget be balanced every year. Now, both sides have balanced the budget by taking money out of other funds.
Mm-hmm.
But it's no big deal to say I'm going to balance the budget. Has to be.
Now, how are they going to balance the budget if they want to expand Medicaid, if they want to invest more in education, and they want to increase spending all across the board? How are they going to balance that budget?
Well, you just shut down the highway department because that's who they usually raid.
Sure. Raise taxes, borrow money from places that they're attacking Republicans from borrowing money from. They're probably going to borrow money from capers. They're probably going to borrow money from the highway department. They're probably going to raise property taxes again. They're probably going to say, yeah, we want to lower sales tax on food, but yet we can't lower the sales tax on food because not only do we need more money for education, but we really have to balance the budget, so we just need more revenue coming in. You can see exactly what the vision of the state of Kansas is going to look like if they end up winning. So.
Yeah, the other thing I ran across is these Republicans that are supporting Laura Kelly are what I call the established Republicans. There's not a whole lot of difference between them and the Democrats. And Kobach is a drastic change, and he doesn't play by their rules. So I'm gonna oppose him.
Sure. Well, again, they're the self-hating Republicans. Myron, I appreciate that. I mean, that's what we need to start calling them. No more rhinos. I mean, we could do the, we're going to go rhino hunting, all right. I mean, we could do that because they really are the Republican in name only, but it really comes down to their self-hating Republicans. If you don't like the Republican platform, limited government, lower taxes, fighting for smaller government, fighting for conservative values, and if Chris Kobach's too extreme for you, if those conservatives are too nutso for you, then you're nothing more than a self-hating Republican. Really what it comes down to. I mean, I don't know what else to call them. I guess you could call them a rhino, but they don't. They just laugh that off. Ha, ha, ha. We saw the campaign ads in the last election saying proud rhino in Kansas. So you're just a self-hating Republican. That's cool. 5 minutes at the top of the hour. This is The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Mid-America Network.
Market update, Mid-America Ag Network. Mixed numbers across the futures markets on Tuesday. We saw Kansas City wheat struggle through much of the day, tried to pull out a rally just before we got to the end of the day and was more or less successful. Corn finished in the green, too. Soybeans couldn't pull that off, though. December corn up 0.75 cents, 3.70 1/4. March up 3/4 at 3.82 1/2. Each of the later months was up. Coming from the bottom up, we saw a bit of a rally for Kansas City wheat. December finished it down 1/4 cent at 5.07 1/2. March was up 0.75 cents at 5.33 1/4. All the other months were up as too. Chicago wheat was a bit higher. Minneapolis wheat was lower. Soybeans couldn't hold on. November beans down 1 at 857.5. January beans down 1.5 at 871. Soybean meal and soybean oil also lower. December bean meal down 210 at 310.70. December bean oil down 39 points at 28.76. Looking at livestock, cattle were lower. Hogs were the bright spot there. October live cattle down 2 at 112.77. December down 92 at 117.15. October feeder cattle down 57 at 155.07. November feeders down 105 at 155.87. So we had issues all through cattle. Each of the later months is lower in both live cattle and feeder cattle as we wrapped up the day. December hogs up 135 at 54.52. February hogs up 112 at 61.42. So we saw some positives in hogs as we looked at mixed numbers all across the livestock complex. Cotton did not have a good day. December cotton down 103 at 78.99, and March cotton was down 75 at 80.70. So it was kind of a tough day for cotton. It was a tough day for cattle, and we saw mixed numbers when it comes to the grains and soybeans on Tuesday. Market information from Mid-America Ag Network.
What good are crop nutrients if your crops can't use them? Soil pH is the foundation of nutrient availability. 98G pelletized limestone corrects and maintains soil pH levels, maximizing your investment in crop nutrients by making them more readily available to the crop. Since 98G is pelletized for precision placement, it won't blow away in the wind like ag lime. Ask your local crop advisor about 98G pelletized limestone or learn more at calciumproducts.com.
At Star Seed, we have various options for your cover crop solution. Whether you prefer Green Shift, Chick Magnet, or Green Field, choose Star Seed for all your cover crop needs. We offer premium quality products and superior sudden service. Don't forget to ask about our custom blend packages. Call Star Seed today at 800-782-7311 or visit our website at gostarseed.com for all your seed needs.
Top of the hour news coming up. We got hour number 2 right around the corner. Lots more to get to. Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, will be joining at 7:30. Plus, when we come back, there was the debate with the 2nd Congressional District. Steve Watkins, Paul Davis, and Kelly Stanley, the Libertarian candidate. Kind of an interesting feller there. We'll talk about that race. We got some audio clips from that, plus more of your phone calls when we come back. It's going to be a heck of a day on a freedom-loving Wednesday. Plus, at 8 o'clock, James Thompson, Democratic candidate for the 4th Congressional District here, going to be in studio with us for a little bit. Look forward to chatting with him. This is your show as always. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is the Voice of Reason on KQAM. Stay right here. Facebook, TV, YouTube, radio, all over the place. We're everywhere, baby. Stay here.
Speak. Kubota's L2501 HST packs powerful performance into one easy-to-operate compact tractor. Designed for all-day operator comfort and easy use of implements, the L2501 HST makes mowing, digging, hauling, and lifting quick and simple. Now get payments as low as $139 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months. Now through June 30th, 2018. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
We make precision-engineered compact tractors, zero-turn mowers, and diesel utility vehicles. Find a Kubota dealer near you at GoKubota.com.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios. Rusty Eck Ford, the price you need and the service you deserve. This is the Big Talker, 102.5 FM and 1480 AM, KQAM, Wichita proud.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company.
It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge, Kansas. Sales and service of the big rigs and trailers, plus ag diesel equipment repair on and off the farm.
Good Wednesday. Wichita Police Department yesterday arrested a 22-year-old Wichita man in connection with the deadly shooting early Monday morning at a West Wichita motel. Police say officers arrested 22-year-old Corey Bentley of Wichita on charges of first-degree murder and criminal possession of a firearm by a felon. Around 4 o'clock Monday morning, police say officers responded to the Deluxe Inn at 8401 West Kellogg, where they found 43-year-old Jackie Jerome of Wichita with multiple gunshot wounds to his body. Jerome was pronounced deceased at a local hospital. Police say the investigation revealed a disturbance ensued between Bentley and Jerome when Bentley fired multiple shots from a handgun. KWCH-TV reports that police say the investigation is ongoing. A federal jury has convicted a Wichita doctor accused of unlawfully prescribing pain medication blamed in one patient's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office said in a news release that 57-year-old Stephen Henson was convicted yesterday of unlawfully distributing methadone and alprazolam, which resulted in the death of a patient in July of 2015. The doctor was also convicted of unlawfully prescribing and distributing various prescription drugs, presenting false patient records to investigators, obstruction of justice, and money laundering. Sentencing will be set at a later date. Jurors are now deciding the fate of Stephen Bodine, who's accused of killing 3-year-old Evan Brewer, who was found encased in concrete in a South Wichita home last year. The judge sent the jury home last night without a verdict after deliberations began yesterday afternoon. Wichita Eagle reports prosecutors called dozens of witnesses and presented more than 550 pieces of evidence over 6 days in the first-degree murder trial of Bodine. That evidence included what's left of the concrete tomb found in the rental home where Evan Brewer lived with his mother and Bodine. And KDHE has lifted the blue-green algae warning for Lake Afton. It's now back open for recreational activities. I'm Rick Everett. Now sports.
Anticipating a great pitching game last night by a couple of Major League's best pitchers in Chris Sale and Clayton Kershaw saw the Boston Red Sox win Game 1 8-4 off of 11 hits. Kershaw and Sale both left the game after 4 innings. Game 2 tonight, 7:09, the first pitch in Boston. The Kansas City Chiefs have moved up a spot in the NFL power rankings, leapfrogging the New England Patriots to the number 2 spot behind the Los Angeles Rams. The Chiefs have a rival game this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. It's a noon kickoff. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Wichita, call IMA Inc. at 267-9221.
Radical liberal James Thompson is unfit to represent Kansas. James Thompson is an unrepentant liberal who supports allowing late-term abortions and even funding abortions with your tax dollars, and an unrepentant socialist who wants to force Kansans into total government-controlled health care and double your income taxes to pay for it. It's no wonder James Thompson has an F rating from the NRA, because he supports requiring Kansans to register their guns with the federal government. James Thompson, unfit to represent Kansas. There is a better choice. Ron Estes, a champion for Kansas values. Ron Estes has been endorsed by Kansans for Life and the Kansas Farm Bureau for always protecting our way of life. And Ron Estes has been A-rated and endorsed by the NRA for defending our heritage and right to self-defense. Ron Estes, a champion for the Second Amendment, farmers, families, and innocent life.
I'm Ron Estes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Estes for Congress.
Now, back to the KQAM News Desk. Top Trump administration immigration officials and White House advisors are described as still evaluating their options to deal with the massive caravan of migrants and refugees slowly working its way through Mexico toward the U.S. border. And Abby Phillip reports Mr. Trump will deal with a high-profile international issue this afternoon.
President Trump today is expected to meet with his CIA director, Gina Haspel. Now, Haspel just returned from Turkey, where she was getting briefed on the ongoing investigation into the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, that Washington Post journalist. She's expected to brief the president about what she learned on that trip.
Just in from Istanbul, Saudi officials won't allow Turkish police to search a garden well in Saudi Arabia's consulate where Khashoggi was apparently killed. The Red Sox beat the Dodgers last night in Game 1 of the World Series, and somebody has won the record $1.6 billion Mega Millions jackpot. The ticket was purchased in South Carolina, but that's about all that's known this hour. Pre-market trading showing losses across the boards on Wall Street. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Propane Central. Residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural. Visit them online at propanecentral.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly cloudy, a high near 64, 20% chance of showers after 4, rain expected tonight, low around 48, rain likely tomorrow before lunch, a chance of showers in the afternoon, cloudy with a high near 56. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:06, it's currently 53 degrees.
Broadcasting from the Midwest Kia Studios, this is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
They want the endorsements because they don't want to look as radical as what they actually are. And the Republicans that are endorsing them, they are showing not as a member of the Republican Party, but as an individual who is so desperate to fit in with the fads, with the trends. It's the retro thing to do, man. And I'm the Republican that supports the Democrat who hates the Republican agenda. This is the latest campaign because they can't win any other way.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm talking about. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, hour number 2 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. Simulcasting as well on TV, KGPT TV channel 2610. Good morning, welcome aboard. It's an honor to have you along today on a freedom-loving Wednesday. My name's Andy Hoosier, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. We are on YouTube Live as well. A lot of people jumping on this morning. It's the best one we've had so far. We started doing this as of Friday last week, trying to move away from Facebook, which, speaking of, we got a notification this morning. Now, this is from what happened on Thursday last week. We've got a message on Facebook this morning saying that the group that tried to block our videos on Facebook has accepted my dispute and released the claim on the video. Now, it was just one of the blocks that we had on there, so I'm a little afraid to go back to that right now, but it only took them, I don't know how many days before they actually released it to say, hey, we're legit, we can actually broadcast this, because they just hate us. So if we go back to, I don't know if we're going to go back to that. Right now, the YouTube's rocking. We got a bunch of people jumping on there. Go to youtube.com, find KQAM Radio. You can subscribe to the page. It'll remind you when we go live. It'll show you when we're live. So just find KQAM, or you can go to facebook.com/1480 KQAM. You can find the link on there. We share the link every single morning with the show lineup and everything as usual. But you can click on it. It'll link you directly to YouTube, and you can watch the show right there. Leave a comment. We'll do another drawing. We'll do another giveaway at the end of the show today, right at the very end. For anybody that leaves a comment on there, just say good morning to us on YouTube, and we'll do a random drawing and give something away at the end of the show again today. So appreciate that. Welcome into it, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. Jim Howell joining us here in just a little bit. Looking forward to chatting with him. And James Thompson, Democratic candidate for the 4th Congressional District, will be joining us at 8 o'clock today. Should be a fun discussion as he has agreed to come back onto the show. Until then, though, let's kick off hour number 2 with a phone call. What do you say? Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, this is Myron with 2 more points.
No, what's going on real quick for you? What you got?
Spoke to registered Republican, and he had what I think is an excellent point.
No, I tell you what, hey, Myron, you're really muffled. I can barely hear you, my friend. Give me a call back here in a bit and try and ask him, but you're really muffled. I can barely hear you on there. 316-721-8255. I want to shift just for a little bit here real quick, and I want to ask about, or I want to talk to you about this race up in the 2nd Congressional District. This is a big race. This is a really important one. We need to keep the seat Republican. Lynn Jenkins stepping aside, the open seat. Who's going to represent us in Washington, D.C., when this seat gets filled? Steve Watkins. Now, they had a brutal primary race. We've had Steve Watkins on the show a few times. He's a great individual. I'm really excited. Hopefully we can get him in there. Paul Davis, the Democrat. He's been in the state legislature for a while. He's tried to run for some other seats and has lost. Very soft-spoken individual, very far left-wing progressive. But he's changing his tone dramatically that try and beat Steve Watkins in this race. Now, there is a Libertarian there as well, and I don't know what he's polling at, but the latest poll that I've seen, at least with this race, is that Paul Davis and Steve Watkins, like the governor's race, they are neck and neck, and this is going to come down to the wire. They did a debate just a couple of days ago, and I want to show you the differences here and what's at stake in this race. Because this is going to be one, again, if we talk about the blue wave, if any of our seats go blue, any of our seats in Kansas go blue, that is the sign that there is going to be that quote-unquote blue wave. This race is important, and it's really never come down to Kansas like this before. We're the deep red state. We've had it very easy when it comes to actually knowing that Republicans are going to represent us. Democrats try and throw into the ring, but it never really takes off. This year, we have Sharice Davids going against Kevin Yoder in the 3rd District. Kevin Yoder's finally starting to pull ahead just a little bit in the last couple weeks. We have the 1st District out there with Roger Marshall and Ellen LaPolice. Not much of a challenge there. Roger Marshall's going to win handily that one. We have the 4th Congressional District, where I think Ron Estes is going to walk away with this one pretty easily, but James Thompson has been able to gain somewhat of a following. And you need to pay attention to that. But then we have that open seat where they are desperate to take it, and they've sunk in over $4 million of outside money coming into Paul Davis into this race for the 2nd District. Over $4 million. This is a Kansas House seat, and they've sunk in millions and millions of dollars to try and beat Steve Watkins in this race. And the fact that the outsider, the non-politician, the military man, the adventurer that we like to have on the show and talk about, the fact that he's going neck and neck as the Republican with zero experience in legislation, that is. Now, he's brilliant when it comes to, obviously, the military mindset, when he's the adventurer and the hard worker, when he's fighting for what he needs to fight for. I mean, obviously, he's an expert on that stuff. He's not a politician. And the fact that he's hanging in like this is a great sign, and I think I'm going to give him that one, and he's going to win this race. Just because of the fact that he's been able to hang in the way he is. And I hope he does. But there was the debate just a couple of days ago, and Paul Davis came out swinging right off the bat, realizing that he's potentially losing to a newcomer.
It's one of the reasons why 36 current and former Republican elected officials support my candidacy. My opponents...
I love it right there again. You hear that? Just like what Brian McClendon did with Secretary of State, just like what Laura Kelly's been doing with the Republicans and the former governors. Yeah, number of Republicans supporting my campaign. Republicans that are endorsing my campaign. I'm the Democrat who despises Republicans. I hate Republicans. I'm going to try to impeach the president. I'm going to go after Republicans and conservatives. We're going to raise your taxes. We're going to do that stuff, and we have Republican support doing it. Ain't I proud? Aren't you special?
It's one of the reasons why 36 current and former Republican elected officials support my candidacy. My opponent, Steve Watkins, and I have some very fundamental disagreements. I believe that we ought to preserve what's good about our healthcare system, and we need to fix what's wrong with it.
That would be government. That would be government, just to let you know. Just throwing it out there. We need to fix what's wrong with it, get the government out of healthcare. Then you can fix healthcare.
And we need to attack the issue of cost by taking on the drug companies. Steve wants to take us back to an era where insurance companies can discriminate against us because we have pre-existing conditions like cancer or diabetes. I fundamentally believe we have to protect Social Security and Medicare. But Steve supports a plan that will trigger a cut to Medicare that affects every Kansas senior. He also...
Hold on, what cuts are we talking about? Now, I don't know the specific plan of Steve Watkins, but I'm assuming that he's going along with the average Joe Schmo mantra of, the Republicans want to cut Medicare and Medicaid, they want to downsize the federal government programs, and they want to cut it so where people are dying in the streets, and old people and sick people and everybody else, they're dying in the streets without any coverage, which just isn't true. Because, yeah, we want to advocate for not the cutting of, but the slowing of growth of. Then we can work on cutting once we get people off the program, but at least let's slow the growth of. But to them, that's a major cut. Remember the difference.
Supports means testing Social Security and is open to privatizing it. When I was in the legislature, I voted 150 times to cut taxes. Steve supports a tax plan that will give 83% of the benefits to people who make over $900,000 a year and will explode our federal debt.
Exploding the federal debt because, $23 trillion isn't already exploding the federal debt. And, 900... Where do they come up with these numbers? Where do they come up with the numbers? If you remember Barack Obama, when he was campaigning, anybody making over $250,000, they're going to get the tax increase because they need to pay for their fair share, and anybody making less than $250,000, they'll get a tax break. It just isn't true. Democrats trying to hype up they're going to cut taxes on the middle class. It never happens. It never works. And now it's up from $250,000 up to $900,000. $900,000, they're going to get that tax break. If you remember, and I want to bring up some of these stats again when James Thompson's in just an hour from now, but if you remember that the top 1% already pay 37% of all income taxes in the country. They're already paying all the taxes. I mean, yeah, we pay our taxes, obviously, but the top 10% pay 90% of all federal income tax, which means that if you do any type of tax cut in any way, shape, or form, it's going to affect individuals who actually pay the taxes, which is you and I and the people that actually have money. The bottom 48% that don't pay federal income tax, they're not going to get a tax break if they're already not paying taxes, just to let you know. Now, here's the interesting thing. That was the one on taxes, and we'll get back to taxes in just a second. Steve Watkins did comment on the taxes in the economy.
Well, the economy is doing great. A key component of that are the tax cuts that has unleashed the potential of the American people. What that gives them is predictability, allowing them to grow their ideas and grow their businesses in meaningful ways. This last quarter enjoyed a 4.2% growth rate, and we have record employment levels. Our unemployment is like a historic low, particularly among minorities, African American, Asian American, and Hispanic Americans. We're proud of that. My party wants to keep that going with lower taxes, low regulation. Now that's what helps lift people out of poverty. And that's as that capitalism, that free market system is a stark contrast to what the liberals believe. I'd point out that young liberals, only 19% are capitalism. That's scary.
That is really scary, and I'm glad he brought that up. Number of young adults that actually believe in capitalism. Now, I don't think those polls are right, but I'm really glad he brought it up. Hey, we have a great system here. We got taxes that are getting lower. We have less regulation. We have business that's growing. The GDP is going up. Things are happening under a capitalist free market enterprise system to where you can create a business. You can start. You can be an entrepreneur yourself. You can go and work. You can work your way up the corporate ladder. You can start your own, whatever you want to do. You have that opportunity, and it's because of the capitalist system. And, oh, look, there's a young generation here that really doesn't believe in capitalism. That's a very scary thing. I'm glad he brought it up. But then, of course, you see, what do they go back to? What do they go back to? I'm waiting for it. It's a word. I don't quite remember what it is.
You know, Mr. Watkins talked about the tax plan, and that is a big distinction between the two of us. I think there's no greater example of who Washington is working for than this Brownback-style tax plan that just passed through the Congress.
There it is! There it is, the Brownback-style tax cut. Donald Trump and the Brownback-style tax cut, cutting taxes for people, trying to actually decrease government revenues and creating this crazy amount of debt in the government because the Brownback-style tax cuts just don't work. And look at that. We're doing them at the federal level, and Steve Watkins is a Brownbacker.
83% of those benefits go to people who make over $900,000 a year. Ask yourself, do you know anybody who makes over $900,000 a year? I don't think that I do. We need tax cuts for people who really need tax cuts.
Yeah, and according to you, that would be nobody, because everybody has to pay their fair share. Everybody needs to increase in taxes, right? This is the lie that Democrats come out with each and every day. The absolute lies. We want to cut taxes for the middle class. No, you don't. You say you do just to get their support, and then you give it to the unions, and the unions raise their dues, and you raise their taxes on them, and you raise the inflation, and you raise the cost of living. You don't give them tax breaks. We want to tax the evil corporate people. We want to tax the rich people. Guess what? What do you consider rich? Right now it's $900,000. It's going to go back to $200,000. Then it's going to go down to $100,000. And then it's going to be, if you make a paycheck, then you're the rich. You need to pay your fair share, and we're going to raise your taxes more on everybody. It's a lie. Don't fall for this. And most people don't. But when Democrats say they want to lower taxes on the middle class, it's just not true. Because the middle class do pay taxes. You're considered, if you are in the middle class, you are considered wealthy, by the way. I know they're saying that there's a $900,000 threshold, but they can't get their story straight between Barack Obama and Paul Davis and everybody else on the Democrat side. They can't get their story straight on what that arbitrary line is of what's rich and what's not rich. and now we're going to just raise taxes for everybody. You're not going to raise lower taxes for anybody. Give me a break. What's really interesting is that see if I can find this here. Kelly Stanley came out and had talked about the taxes as well as the Libertarian, which I'm really confused by this.
They talk about the fact that the new tax cuts are actually helping people. In a way, yes, they are. The rich. And the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Is that a Libertarian standpoint? Is that in the Libertarian platform of we hate the rich now too? We're going to jump into the class warfare thing and the rich people are evil and we need to hate the rich. I thought Libertarians were, hey, do your thing and I do my thing and we're not going to come after you and you're not going to come after us and we're just going to go about our own business. I thought Libertarians were like, hey, make as much money as you want. I'll make as much money as I want. I didn't realize Libertarians all of a sudden now are about class warfare. Is there some type of pamphlet that I can read on what the Libertarians actually stand for? Because I'm hearing crazy conflicting things from numerous different Libertarian candidates from different races all over the place about what they believe in, and none of it is syncing up together, which is why the Libertarian Party is never going to do anything. They're never going to win. They're never going to get support. They're never going to grow in numbers. They're never going to be a actual party, a legit party, because you can't actually have candidates running with the same idealism. This is ridiculous. Got to take a break. 21 minutes past the hour. We'll play some more of these when we come back. Plus, we got the calls lining up. Stay here. We'll get to you as soon as we come back here on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. A key U.S. senator fears the EPA may be backsliding on President Trump's commitment to approve year-round sales of E15 gasoline. Iowa Republican Chuck Grassley says EPA's just announced schedule to propose an E15 regulation in February and have a final rule out by May 1st is not acceptable.
EPA ought to speed it up, or otherwise it's going to look like the president wasn't serious in his announcement in Council Bluffs 2 weeks ago.
Grassley says it's time to end 5 years of red tape and a year of direct talks with the president and the EPA and put out a regulation for year-round E15 use. Otherwise, retailers may not be willing to invest in new equipment.
If there's still doubt, if it wouldn't go through by May 1st, that could cut a lot of these people out from selling it during the summer. But I know one thing. We've been thanking Trump that he delivered on his promises, and a lot of people are going to view this as backing away from that promise.
Grassley says the EPA needs to get behind the president. That's a complaint he made regularly when oil-friendly former EPA Chief Scott Pruitt was running the agency, and one Grassley hoped he wouldn't have to repeat with Acting Chief Andrew Wheeler at the helm. In other news, President Trump is tentatively scheduled to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping during the Group of 20 Nations, or G20 summit, next month. The two are expected to discuss the ongoing trade dispute between the United States and China. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow told reporters that the U.S. goals are on the table and that the two leaders, quote, will meet for a bit during the event. He said he anticipated staff-level meetings between Chinese and American officials ahead of the November 30th summit. However, he warned not to expect any major breakthrough between the two leaders. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Don't miss the 2018 Clem McSpadden National Finals steer roping, November 2nd and 3rd at Kansas Star Arena. Tickets will be hard to find when the PRCA's top steer ropers throw at PRCA Gold. See this year's field made up of the sport's greatest ropers, battling to put their name in the history books over the two-day championship. Get your tickets for $25 at KansasStarCasino.com. The Clem McSpadden National Finals steer roping, 7:30 p.m. November 2nd and 3rd at the Kansas Star Arena.
El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54. Pipe cattle pens with a capacity to hold 5,000 head of cattle. Covered pens to hold 3,500 to 4,000 head. There's a fully modern vet barn and a fully computerized sale program for fast and accurate settlement. The sales ring, comfortable stadium seating in a climate-controlled arena, and new scales. The sale order on sale day, stock cows and bulls, followed by calves, then feeder cattle, then butcher cows and bulls. The goal at El Dorado Livestock Auction is to get the highest possible price for the producer by bringing in the best possible buyers. The auction barn staff provides a friendly, personal relationship with each customer. The staff gets to know the customer and his or her individual needs, and then they meet those needs with an honest, full-value approach that serves both buyer and seller. El Dorado Livestock Auction, a sale every Thursday at 11 a.m. El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54.
Five minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Making it happen today, doing the thing, advancing conservatism on a daily basis.
I think what we need to have is a top-to-bottom analysis and of all of our federal spending. I mean, we need to go line item by line item, and no agency should be exempt from that. I've always believed that the dollars that we invest in early childhood education, I think, are some of the best dollars that we spend, because we see a great return on those kids that need a head start in getting off to school, and we're able to keep kids out of trouble because of those things.
That was Paul Davis at the debate just a couple of days ago for the 2nd Congressional District, a line-by-line budget review. I've never heard a Democrat say something like that. Maybe he's actually legit on this, or maybe he's just trying to find a way to win some Republican support over by doing a line-by-line. Let me tell you something. As a Democrat, if you go into Washington, D.C., first off, the Democrats will never say they support anything like that. Number two, if you do get them to do it, it's going to be a line-by-line trying to see how much they can gut out of the military, and that's about it. That's about it. You're not going to cut education. You're not going to cut the Department of Education or the Environmental Protection Agency or the Department of Energy or any other department that is nice and warm and cozy for Democrats who actually promote regulation and control over the people with. It's not going to happen. So that sounds nice, but I find it quite ironic coming from an actual Democrat. Let's go to the phones here. 27 minutes past the hour. Let's go to line number 1 here. 316-721-8255. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, this is Kurt.
Hey, Kurt. How are you, sir?
Doing well, and you?
Good. Living the dream every day.
Hey, I'm just wondering, is Brown back on the ticket somewhere? I mean, I just hear his name all the time. It's like, okay.
Yeah, apparently he is. He's apparently on the ticket for governor again. He's on the ticket for many of the state legislative seats. He's on the ticket for the Secretary of State seat. He's on the ticket for the congressional seat. I mean, he's everywhere. He's, I don't know, he's on every ballot in the state of Kansas for every seat.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. A little crazy.
I don't know why do you think they go after him? So, I mean, I get it. They like to build up the straw man and attack him, but you would think it gets old after a while. And then after a while, you'd be like, you know what? I don't know if this is really working or not.
Yeah, I get tired of hearing it,
Yeah.
Just,
I'm with you. Kurt. I appreciate that very much. Yes, Brown back on the ticket. I didn't think so, but apparently he is, and he's on every ticket. He's everywhere. Which I think is kind of funny. You know what we should do? We should start a write-in for some of these candidates for Brownback to be in every seat. Because you know what? They would just hate that. If they're going to talk about him for every seat, we should do a write-in for every seat. We should put out Brownback yard signs again. We should just annoy the hell out of the progressives who absolutely despise Brownback, because why not? If you're going to play into it, then why not just do it yourself, right? Come on. Let's go to line number 2 here. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, Andy. This is Helen.
Helen, how are you?
I'm doing just great.
Good.
And once again, these Democrats and rhinos are acting like they're on a higher moral ground than the conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
But God says plainly in Exodus chapter 30, verse 15, the rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less. God expects everybody to pay their same percentage. And also he says in Leviticus 19, verse 15, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty or rich, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. People reap from what they sow, and if they're poor, maybe it's their own fault. If they're rich, maybe they're doing the right thing.
That's a great point, Helen. I hate to cut you off. We got a bottom of the hour break, but you're right. I mean, we're supposed to be wealthy ourselves, have the opportunity to be wealthy, and then give charitably, personally, without the government taking it from us. A wild concept, I know.
It's from the KQAM News Center.
Turkish police are now searching a garden well at the Saudi diplomatic compound in Istanbul, where journalist Jamal Khashoggi is believed to have been killed. 6 children have died as a result of adenovirus at the Wanakee Center for Nursing and Rehabilitation in Haskell, New Jersey. 12 additional kids infected. Medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta checking on it.
So far, it seems to be contained to this specific facility. Again, the virus is something that we see a lot, but the severity of this outbreak seems to be contained to this facility, again, the Wanakee facility.
Lottery officials will tell us today where in South Carolina the winning ticket for last night's $1.5 billion Mega Millions jackpot was sold. The name of the winner not yet known. The Dodgers are looking toward tomorrow night's Game 2 against the Red Sox in the World Series, hoping to battle back after last night's 8-4 loss to Boston. The Strong's earning report from Boeing has now reversed losses in pre-market trading on Wall Street. Futures now showing gains for the Dow. I'm Michael Toscano.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now, 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
For a limited time at VisionWorks, you can get 2 complete pairs of glasses, frames, lenses, the works, for just $49 on single vision glasses and $89 on progressives. And that's a good deal. But we offer that pricing on over 500 frames, which makes it a great deal. A great deal better than the other guys. Right now, buy 2 complete pairs of single vision glasses for just $49 or 2 pairs of progressives for only $89. VisionWorks, we're here to help you. Some restrictions apply. See store for details. Offer expires November 10th.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Wednesday. A Wichita police officer will not be charged in the fatal shooting of a man who was holding his girlfriend at knife point. Sedgwick County District Attorney Mark Bennett said yesterday the officer who shot Jose Ortiz in August of last year used reasonable force in firing one shot that struck Ortiz in the head. The district attorney says SWAT officers who entered the home found Ortiz holding his girlfriend with a knife. An autopsy showed Ortiz was using methamphetamine during the confrontation. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue speaking next month at Kansas State University. Perdue's November 1st appearance is part of the Land and Lecture series. The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture will talk about lessons in public service that he learned on the farm. The lecture is free and open to the public. And forecasters say the next wave of rain making its way into parts of the Sunflower State beginning today. Mid-America Network News.
Hi, I'm Cheryl at Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center. Whether you have kids to haul to school or a student to send off to college, this is a great time to take advantage of our summer savings to get ready for fall and winter. When safety is your priority, our Michelin tires are the right choice. For great handling in any conditions, you'll want our BF Goodrich line. And when quiet durability is what you're looking for, look no further than our Uniroyal tires. So call 945-7131 or visit Kennedy Tire at 3250 West 13th Street North. Whether it's safety, performance, or economy, Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center is your friend in the tire business.
Hello, Kansas. This is Phil Martinez from Phil's Coins. Phil's Coins at 9344 West Central in Wichita is the largest coin dealer in Kansas, and I pay top dollar for your coin collection and precious metals. Buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity. It's not just a catchy slogan to get you in the door. It's a philosophy that we've operated under since I first opened Phil's Coins. We buy, sell, and trade it all, and we do it each and every day with honesty and integrity. Talk with the rest, and then do business with the best. Phil's Coins at 9344 West Central.
Hi, this is Steve Anthemides with Athena Jewelry. My dad opened the doors of our family jewelry business almost 50 years ago, and today we are the longest standing independent jewelry store in Wichita. People tell us we treat them like family, and in addition to a massive inventory, we take a lot of pride in creating unique, one-of-a-kind pieces, as well as same-day sizing and repair in most cases. So take this as my personal invitation to come see us, Athena Jewelry, 219 East Douglas in Wichita.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly cloudy, a high near 64, 20% chance of showers after 4, rain expected tonight, low around 48, rain likely tomorrow before lunch, a chance of showers in the afternoon, cloudy with a high near 56. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:35, it's currently 53 degrees.
This segment of the Voice of Reason on KQAM brought to you by Riverside Cafe, home of the 3-pound burger and hand-cut fries. 2 Wichita locations and 824 North Baltimore in Derby. Riverside Cafe. Weeding through the fake news on a daily basis.
I hope now you boys see that this is totally serial.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
You have the power with your vote to defend your family, your community, your country, and everything we hold sacred and righteous and true. Loyal citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country, returning power to everyday great American patriots.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is a Wednesday, freedom-loving Wednesday. We appreciate you hanging out with us each and every day, as you do all the time, and we love it very, very much. So 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. Early voting underway here in the South Central Kansas area as of Monday. We're seeing the stories. It's so funny. We see one story the first day on Monday saying, yeah, look at this. Early voting turning out for the Democrats. It's going to be the blue wave. Early voting predominantly goes towards the blue wave and the Democrats, and they're going to do very well. And we're going to overturn the House. We're going to overturn the Senate. We're going to overturn everything. And then you see the story yesterday. GOP shows strong early voter turnout. It might be the case that Republicans actually maintain. The media having no idea how to actually predict this election because it's just too far-fetched, and Donald Trump throwing that wrench in the system as he always does because they just don't know how to gauge a Donald Trump administration. It is that time. We do it every single Wednesday. And on the line with us, I'm really excited to have on here Sedgwick County Commissioner Mr. Jim Howell on the line. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, Andy. Thank you for having me on the show again.
Hey, always a good time. We always love getting the updates on what's happening with the county. And I know you guys don't really have a meeting right now between now and election time, but
actually, we do. Well, we do have one today.
Oh, you do have one today.
Yeah,
but it's lighter.
I'll tell you all about that. Sure. We won't have one next week because it's the end of the month. We always skip. We tried to skip the last Wednesday of the month. That's a money-saving strategy that was implemented many years ago. And then the week after that actually is the day after the partisan election, and it's tradition that we don't normally have a meeting after a partisan election. So next 2 weeks after today, we'll skip. But we do have a meeting this morning.
Very good.
Absolutely.
And that's right. It's hard to believe. I was thinking today was the last day of the month, but next week is Halloween. We get to chat with you on Halloween. Now, are you going to dress up for Halloween again?
You know, I haven't thought about that yet, but I probably should.
You probably should. You should. It'd be a fantastic time, I think. And you know what? The media would come after and then start taking pictures and blasting it everywhere. And then, of course, they'll use it as campaign ads against you because, well, you know, dressed up as Halloween. How could you do such a thing?
I wonder if they sell brownback masks somewhere. That's the scariest thing right now. Apparently.
That would be outstanding.
Every commercial, that's all they talk about.
That's what I'm talking about. We should make some brownback face masks, and we can wear brownback costumes, and then the Democrats and progressives will go absolutely nuts. I like it.
I know.
I'll have to work on that one. Maybe we could do that. I don't know. We can mold something out of there. Ask Brownback if he can mold a copy of his face or something.
Well, anyway, today's meeting really is pretty simple. We don't have anything super controversial today, I don't think. We have just our normal pay the bills. We've got a couple of proclamations. One of these proclamations is actually kind of cool. It's regarding the JROTC program. We have about 2,400 JROTC students in the Wichita area. That's tremendous, and they actually have a pretty awesome ceremony comes up for Veterans Day on Wednesday, November the 7th at Century 2. That would be one that I would love to watch, and I plan to be there. But this is Junior ROTC Leadership Week, and so we're going to have a proclamation to recognize that. We have a couple of appointments. We actually have one person swapping out on the Minnehaha Township Board. And after that, probably the one thing I feel most uncomfortable about today's meeting is we actually do have to sell some bonds this morning. This is one of those things where I don't like everything that's packaged in this, but the county commission's already committed to selling these bonds. The question is the process and the interest rate. And so the way they do this, they actually sell the bonds essentially during the meeting and come up with the best deal, the best interest rate they can find. and bring that before the county commission, and we get to vote to accept that package deal. So that's a thing we have to do today. I'm not really liking that one at all. People are also, you've probably heard Andy, they accuse us of rejecting grants right and left. I haven't got the numbers in front of me right now, but we have nearly, I think, 70 different grants. We have 8 sources of funding altogether, but one of the major sources of funding is grants from state and federal government. And today we're going to consider a $1.14 million grant for rural transportation programs, and another $2.14 million grant for nutrition programs for primarily elderly folks, things like meals. Or actually, this one's actually for the Women's Infants and Children program, or what's called WIC.
Okay.
And you might remember in 2015 we got criticized in 2015 for what was termed in the media as cutting WIC, but that's really not what happened. And I just talked to our health director just 2 days ago and asked her to comment on it. I said, did we cut WIC? And she said, no, of course not. We did not cut WIC. Everybody that wanted benefits received benefits. And so that just did not happen. What we did cut was the excess administration funds that we didn't have any way to spend. And so we returned them before we accepted them. But we still accepted plenty of money to run the program. And that was the point that was trying to be made that day, but unfortunately got lost in the media story that kind of misrepresented that, in my opinion. Well, we're going to reconsider that WIC grant today. Again, the $2.14 million. And by the way, Andy, that's just administration funds. This is not benefit dollars.
Okay.
The benefit dollars is around $9 million, but that's a whole separate pot of money. So $2.14 million, and this is just to operate the program out of the Sedgwick County. And then we've got, of course, our purchasing thing we do every meeting. We do bids and boards of contracts because we have to buy things like toilet paper and other things. We also do let jobs on road projects, and so all that's part of that. That's the kind of normal ops type stuff, and then of course we pay the bills. So today's really a pretty simple meeting. We're going to meet at 9 o'clock as usual, and we'd love to hear from anybody that has any questions for us or wants to make a comment.
Well, it's going to be important stuff, and as you mentioned, it may be a little bit lighter, quote unquote, when it comes to heavy, sexy type of items, but it's still really important for you to focus on, and selling the bonds is important, learning about some of the things happening at the county. Now, this is going to pick up after the election, some going into the end of the year, as it always kind of does. You guys are done with some of the budgetary debates, but then you can talk about many of the regulations, and it's going to go into what you guys are going to be doing, pitching to the legislature come session 2019, correct?
Oh, yeah. In fact, we've got that on the schedule. In the next few weeks, we're going to be doing what's called a legislative platform discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may be on a BOCC meeting. I believe here, maybe the next meeting we've got will be a big discussion about our legislative platform. I will tell you also, you talked about things that come up after budget cycle. Let me give you a couple of examples. Just yesterday, or 2 days ago, it was 2 days ago, talked to someone at the Sedgwick County Zoo. They're asking the county for $6 million for money for the entrance, which I think is going to cost around $10 million, but they want the county to kick in $6 million on that, so that's something for us to consider. We've got a thing called the Youth Employment Program, or YEP for an acronym, and that is a $25,000 ask. There's another, I believe, this is $100,000 for Wichita Independent Business Association. They want us to consider that. That's new spending. We haven't done that in the past. I'm not sure if ever. And there's just, it just keeps coming. There's just more. There's more things for us to consider spending money on. I think the reason this is happening, I'm not saying anything's wrong or bad. Maybe we'll do those things. I'm not sure. There's obviously debates that have to happen. There's more understanding that needs to happen. And of course, we all love our Sedgwick County Zoo. But one of the things I think that is making this kind of like if you win the lottery today. Did you win the lottery, by the way?
I haven't checked yet. I don't know. I have to check the numbers.
Well, if you won,
I'm
people are
feeling
going to
good,
come to you and say, they're going to come to you and say, hey, we've got some things over here you could spend some money on. We'd like to ask you for some money.
Sure.
The reality is that Sedgwick County is fiscally doing very well. And I'd like to just make that point. We're doing fantastic fiscally, paying off debt, and our fiscal forecast is very positive, and we're very healthy. And so I think that this is, allowing a lot of people to say, let's go to Sedgwick County and ask, because they do have some resources. Especially, we haven't had these resources in the distant past. It's been about 10 years since we've only been in this good of position. And so, again, not saying anything's wrong. None of these things are wrong or bad. But it just illustrates the point. This is just a typical week up here of having people, organizations come up and say, we want this, need this, and, make very compelling arguments. And, of course, we want our youth to have jobs. We want to take care of our zoo. We certainly want small business to thrive. And so they all sound great. That's just pretty. But every week there's more. And that's what happens in the off-budget season. So we're between budget cycles, and this is the time of year that this type of stuff, these type of discussions are usually front and center. So that's what we're talking about right now.
Sure. You're right. It is really important. I don't know, and I am still waiting to see. Maybe you won the lottery. Did you buy any tickets? Are you ready to go? Checking the numbers?
Well, unfortunately, I don't really play the lottery, so I'm pretty sure I didn't win.
I never played the lottery unless there's record numbers, and I'm like, yeah, why not throw a little bit in there and see what we can do? Because you never know. You never know.
You never know. That's true.
Right.
And there's a chance you'll win, I guess, but there's a pretty good chance you won't.
There is a pretty good chance that you won't. We're talking with Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner. We're almost out of time, but outside of the county commission stuff like that, I know that the elections are ramping up. I mean, we've talked to you about your campaign. We'll do so again here soon, but just the get out the vote. We've seen early voting records, early voting numbers coming out from across the country. It looks really high for both Democrats and Republicans. They still don't know how to gauge this one, but is the county, when it comes to counting the numbers, when it comes to helping out with the precincts, when it comes to the voting day, is the county ready for this? Because it's going to be a crazy one.
Well, I'm glad you asked. I think the county is about as ready as it can be, but I would just make a plea out to the listeners this morning. I think there's still a need for about 30 election workers, and we would love to. People use the word volunteer. Really, it's not actually a volunteer position. It is a very long day. We do pay them at least minimum wage. It's about a 16 or so hour day. But they make, I don't know,
That's like working a radio.
$25 or something. Yeah, exactly. But the reality is it's a great civic thing to do. We need people to help us with the elections. I believe there's about 30 positions open, at least there was about a day ago. And so we're making a plea to the community that if they want to help out with an election, we really need them to help. What they can do is they can call 660-7100. That's the election office, and let them know they would like to be an election worker. And they'll provide just an hour or so of training, maybe an hour and a half of training. I'm not sure exactly how long it takes. And then on the election day, their day starts about 5 in the morning. It doesn't get it done until about 8 o'clock at night. But that day is extremely important for this community to have, enough people to manage this election. Mm-hmm. And there's an awful lot of details that have to come together to make an election happen. And so this is just one of those things where we really need those 30 people to step up. And I don't know who they are, but we need their help. And if they can take a day off work and help with this, it would be wonderful.
You're right, absolutely. I mean, it's being able to go up, being able to help out with the precinct, and not only that, but I'm sure there's a little bit of, is there any training that goes along with it as well? If people walk up and have questions about the provisional ballot or an absentee ballot, or trying to find their name if they're not registered, or if they want to be, if they're not sure if they're registered. I mean, there's a little bit that goes into this, isn't there?
Absolutely. And that's why, and again, we need the workers to step up kind of now, because they can do the training, right now. If they don't step up and volunteer until the very end, there's not time for that training. But every one of those jobs needs to have a very robust discussion, explain exactly how everything's supposed to work. And it's very important. And, so, and of course, every election, some workers are, sometimes they misunderstand some things, and things happen. And then some things make the news, and some people get upset. And so it's important we have that training, trying to make sure that we do things consistently and legally, and from poll site to poll site, and from person to person, that there's not a variation, or we do things in a way that it would disenfranchise someone who wants to vote.
Sure.
And so it's very, very important that we get that training. And it's just, once you've had that training, you have this experience. A lot of election workers really enjoy working these elections. They actually look forward to them.
Sure.
And so once you've done this once, you've experienced it one time, you might want to continue doing something like this every year or every 2 years or whatever. But just a great way to serve your community, and it's just really one day, and you do get paid. And so just if there's someone out there that has vacation saved up and they can just take a day off work, or if there's a student, by the way, age 16 and above is qualified. So if there's a student, they can take a day out of school.
Absolutely.
Schools will generally excuse their absence, and they want them to be civically engaged. And so high school students are tremendous if there's someone out there that wants to do it from high school. But it's just an urgent plea, I guess. If I could just encourage everybody just to get involved in this, we really need to get those 30 positions filled.
Practicing your civic duty at the best level you possibly can. I love it. Sedgwick County Commissioner Jim Howell, it's always a pleasure, my friend. You guys are always busy, always doing a lot of stuff. And if people want to show up to the County Commission meeting today, how can they do so?
Again, it's at 9 o'clock in the county courthouse. This is the blue building on the northwest corner of Central and Main Street. We're on the 3rd floor. And the meeting again starts at 9 o'clock. We do have what's called public comment. You do not have to sign up necessarily ahead of time. You are welcome to show up, and of course on the subject matter that becomes on our agenda, people want to comment on that, they can certainly raise their hand, and we'll recognize them as well at that time. But it's just a great opportunity, and the meeting, my meeting might last an hour or maybe an hour and a half. That's fairly typical. By the way, we are televising this on KPTS Channel 8. And we also do post these on YouTube on our Sedgwick County YouTube channel, and we also stream them live on our Sedgwick County website, sedgwickcounty.org website. So there's lots of ways to watch this meeting, but if you want to engage it personally, we would love to have them come up and give us a chance to hear from them. We want to hear from their perspective.
Hey, I love it. Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Enjoy. We'll chat with you again next Friday or next Wednesday on Halloween Day, and you better be in costume. That's right.
Maybe I should wear my costume into the studio.
Yeah,
That'd
there you
better.
go, especially if it's a brownback costume.
If I can find one. If I can't do that, I'll have to do a Trump. I'm not sure.
Ooh, there you go. Well, either way, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. You wear one of those, and you'll probably get assaulted by some kind of Democrat.
I'm sure I will.
I'm sure. Yeah, there we go. Jim, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Got to take a break here. 8 minutes at the top of the... Just imagine. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should see how many people actually want to dress up as Donald Trump this year and scare the progressives. That would be hysterical. Love it. Got to take a break. 8 minutes at the top of the hour. When we come back in hour number 3, Democratic candidate for the 4th Congressional District, James Thompson. He'll be joining us here in studio. Looking forward to chatting with him right here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Live cattle futures settled Tuesday with most contracts steady to 95 cents lower. Feeder cattle futures were down anywhere from 50 cents to $1.05. The CME Feeder Cattle Index was down 31 cents October 22nd at 155.06. Wholesale boxed beef values were mixed Tuesday afternoon. Choice boxes were up $1 at 210.28. Select boxes were 80 cents lower at 196.86. USDA estimates federally inspected cattle slaughter at 119,000 head Tuesday. That's totaling 237,000 head so far this week. That's 3,000 head above last week and 4,000 head up from the same time last year. Lean hog futures ended Tuesday with most contracts $1 to $1.80 higher. The lean hog index was down 79 cents from the previous day at 66.43 October the 19th. USDA pork carcass cutout value was 53 cents lower at 77.86 in the Tuesday afternoon report. The national base hog carcass price was down 24 cents. A weighted average of 57.70. Estimated federally inspected hog slaughter 477,000 head on Tuesday. That brings the weekly total to 952,000 head, up 16,000 head from last week. Refocusing now, corn, soybeans, and wheat. Corn futures are trading 1 to 2 cents lower at the moment after seeing fractional to 1 1/4 cent gains on Tuesday. Soybeans are currently down 2 to 3.5 cents. They closed Tuesday with most contracts 1 to 1.5 cents lower, and wheat futures are mostly 3 to 5 cents lower in Chicago and Kansas City. Minneapolis is down a couple of cents too. As of this moment, December corn is down 1 1/4 at 3.69. December Kansas City wheat is down 3 1/4 at 5.04 1/4. March is down 3.5 at 5.29 3/4. November soybeans down 3 at 8.54 1/2. January down 3 at 8.68. Soybean meal and soybean oil are tracking lower also here early on Wednesday. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
Midterm election 2018 is upon us, and your home for the latest news is right here on the Big Talker KQAM. Join myself, Andy Hoosier, during the Voice of Reason from now until Election Day as we talk to candidates, cover the latest news, and break down each of the races. Plus, join the Big Talker KQAM on Election Night as we give you the latest numbers as they come in. From county commission to congressional seats, your source for election 2018 is the Big Talker KQAM.
Brought to you in part by MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge and Trailers and More at 433 North Maze Road.
If you're active military, a veteran, or part of our law enforcement community, bring in your active or inactive military ID or an active law enforcement ID to any Riverside Cafe location. Buy 2 meals and a drink and get the second meal of equal or lesser value for free. Again, for any military vets or law enforcement, buy 1 meal and 2 drinks and get the second meal at no charge. A special offer from a special place, Riverside Cafe.
Riverside Cafe in Wichita at 9125 West Central or 13th and Bidding, or in Derby at 824 North Baltimore. South Central Kansas mattress customers have confirmed what industry experts have said about Pure Talalay Bliss latex mattresses. And to find your piece of bliss in a good night's sleep, look no further than Derby Mattress at 105 South Baltimore in Derby. Pure Talalay Bliss latex mattresses outlast the memory foams, providing you with a very cool night's sleep. And right now at Derby Mattress, buy any Pure Talalay Bliss latex mattress and get a free basic adjustable base. Derby Mattress.
It's fall, and with the start of football soon to follow will be winter. Don't go through another season with cold air coming into your house. Call Myers Exterior Products for new replacement windows. Did you know 10 to 25% of your cool or heat can be lost out of your windows? Time to call 944-1024 and let Doug give you a free estimate on new replacement windows.
Myers Exterior Products. Call 944-1024. Call 944-1024.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Today, the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Why? Eugene, go.
I think because Ford engineers always add new stuff, so the competition can't catch up.
Whoa, Eugene sounds like an expert.
Well, I got a store that sells exclusively bar-raising merchandise, like a calendar with an extra month.
An extra month?
Extrebuary. It has 32 days.
So you can appreciate the new 2018 F-150 raising the bar with available bliss with trailer coverage. It monitors your trucks and your trailer's blind spots.
How about our new bar-raising poker chips? You can play with them or eat them. So,
The new 2018 F-150 raises the bar with auto start-stop, standard on all engines, and an available 10-speed transmission.
We have sandals with available built-in socks.
And we are out of time.
Huge in Oregon.
This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Driver assist features like Bliss are supplemental and do not replace the driver's attention, judgment, and the need to control the vehicle.
Welcome back in. Just a few minutes at the top of the hour right here on The Voice of Reason. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks again to Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, joining the program. Always a pleasure to chat with him. We got some messages on social media after the interview. It was like, hey, you didn't ask about the FBI investigation. I know. I talked to him about it off the air a little bit, and there's just not a lot of information yet. But don't worry. We'll talk about it when more stuff comes out. Don't worry. I promise we will. I promise. It's okay. A lot of people checking out the YouTube live feed. We've switched from Facebook Live to YouTube, and the numbers are going up and up each and every day. We appreciate that very, very much. Absolutely love it. As Facebook has been trying to block us every day, not sure why, but censoring what we were doing, stopping the video, people not able to access it. So you know what? Heck with it. We're going to go YouTube. And all you got to do, go to youtube.com, find the KQAM radio page. You can subscribe to it. You can see the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live every time it comes up. We also are going to share the link to it every single morning on the KQAM page on Facebook, the Voice of Reason page on Facebook, all that good jazz. It's all going to be there. You can link it. You can see all the guest lineups, see all the good stuff that we're doing, and then leave a comment, by the way, on YouTube. We'll do a giveaway at the end of next hour, a book or a T-shirt or something. We'll do some kind of fun giveaway, probably with a 2018 voter issue guide from the Kansas Policy Institute along with that, and some other goodies as well. So go on there, find the KQAM live feed on YouTube, leave a comment. Got a lot of people checking it out this morning. We love, and appreciate very much. When we come back, hour number 3, James Thompson, Democratic candidate for the 4th Congressional District. He'll be joining us right here on the show. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
If you're a contractor
or a do-it-yourselfer,
you owe it to yourself to shop Croft Lumber of Heston.
Of course there's lumber.
And there's roofing and siding.
And the renowned custom cupboard cabinets.
Drywall and insulation. Just price Croft Lumber of Heston.
Chances are, if you price Croft Lumber, you'll be done shopping.
And free delivery within 50 miles. Croft Lumber of Heston. 800-736-4951. 800-736-4951. Online at kropflumber.com.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Lindsborg, call Fuquay Insurance at 227-3304.
Broadcasting from the Midwest Kia Studios, Midwest Kia in Wichita, we provide what you deserve. This is 102.5 FM and 1480 AM, KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Phil's Coins, Kansas's largest coin dealer at 9344 West Central. Phil's Coins, buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity.
Good Wednesday. Jurors are now deciding the fate of Stephen Bodine, who's accused of killing 3-year-old Evan Brewer, who was found encased in concrete in a South Wichita home last year. The judge sent the jury home last night without a verdict after deliberations began yesterday afternoon. Wichita Eagle reports prosecutors called dozens of witnesses and presented more than 550 pieces of evidence over 6 days in the first-degree murder trial of Bodine. That evidence included what's left of the concrete tomb found in the rental home where Evan Brewer lived with his mother and Bodine. A federal jury has convicted a Wichita doctor accused of unlawfully prescribing pain medication blamed in one patient's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office said in a news release that 57-year-old Stephen Henson was convicted yesterday of unlawfully distributing methadone and alprazolam, which resulted in the death of a patient in July of 2015. The doctor was also convicted of unlawfully prescribing and distributing various prescription drugs, presenting false patient records to investigators, obstruction of justice, and money laundering. Sentencing will be set at a later date. Wichita Police Department yesterday arrested a 22-year-old Wichita man in connection with the deadly shooting early Monday morning at a West Wichita motel. Police say officers arrested 22-year-old Corey Bentley of Wichita on charges of first-degree murder and criminal possession of a firearm by a felon. Around 4 o'clock Monday morning, police say officers responded to the Deluxe Inn at 8401 West Kellogg, where they found 43-year-old Jackie Jerome of Wichita with multiple gunshot wounds to his body. Jerome was pronounced deceased at a local hospital. Police say the investigation revealed a disturbance ensued between Bentley and Jerome when Bentley fired multiple shots from a handgun. KWCH-TV reports that police say the investigation is ongoing. And KDHE has lifted the blue-green algae warning for Lake Afton. It's now back open for recreational activities. I'm Rick Everett. Now sports.
Going into last night's Game 1 of the World Series, we were anticipating a great pitching duel between Chris Sale and Clayton Kershaw, but it ended up being the bats of the Boston Red Sox that lifted them past the Los Angeles Dodgers 8-4. The Red Sox had 11 hits on the night. Game 2 tonight in Boston, first pitch at 7:09. According to ESPN, the Chiefs have leapfrogged the New England Patriots in the power rankings to take over the number 2 spot. The Los Angeles Rams are still at the top with an undefeated record. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
And one thing you don't want associated with your harvest this year is downtime. Did you know MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 can take care of all harvest-related equipment, combines, tractors, grain carts, and all machinery associated with your successful harvest this year. MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge also has on-the-farm emergency service. Roll your harvest worry-free with MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge, Kansas, 800-835-0069.
At Star Seed, we have various options for your cover crop solution. Whether you prefer a green shift, chick magnet, or a green field, choose Star Seed for all your cover crop needs. We offer premium quality products and superior Sutton service. Don't forget to ask about our custom blend packages. Call Star Seed today at 800-782-7311 or visit our website at gostarseed.com for all your seed needs.
At Yoder Meats, we are celebrating the start of fall with our ground beef bundle. In October, we are featuring the ground beef bundle with 10 pounds of regular ground beef, 10 pounds of extra lean ground beef, 10 pounds of Boston burger, which is 50% beef, 50% pork, and 3 pounds of quarter-pound beef patties. 33 pounds in total for just $100. Stop in today to get yours. Follow Yoder Meats on Facebook for all the latest information and specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
Turkish police are now searching a garden well at the Saudi diplomatic compound in Istanbul, where journalist Jamal Khashoggi is believed to have been killed. 6 children have died as a result of adenovirus at the Wanakee Center for Nursing and Rehabilitation in Haskell, New Jersey. 12 additional kids infected. Medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta checking on it.
So far, it seems to be contained to this specific facility. Again, the virus is something that we see a lot, but the severity of this outbreak seems to be contained to this facility, again, the Wanakee facility.
Lottery officials will tell us today where in South Carolina the winning ticket for last night's $1.5 billion Mega Millions jackpot was sold. The name of the winner not yet known. The Dodgers are looking toward tomorrow night's Game 2 against the Red Sox in the World Series, hoping to battle back after last night's 8-4 loss to Boston. The Strong's earning report from Boeing has now reversed losses in pre-market trading on Wall Street. Futures now showing gains for the Dow. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Hatman Jacks. Amazing headwear for women and men. At the Clock Tower in Delano, Hatman Jacks.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly cloudy, a high near 64, 20% chance of showers after 4, rain expected tonight, low around 48, rain likely tomorrow before lunch, a chance of showers in the afternoon, cloudy with a high near 56. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:06, it's currently 53 degrees.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios, this is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
They want the endorsements because they don't want to look as radical as what they actually are. And the Republicans that are endorsing them, they are showing not as a member of the Republican Party, but as an individual who is so desperate to fit in with the fads, with the trends. It's the retro thing to do, man. And I'm the Republican that supports the Democrat who hates the Republican agenda. This is the latest campaign because they can't win any other way.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome in to the Voice of Reason, hour number 3. The Voice of Reason broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation. Here in Wichita, Kansas on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. Simulcasting on TV as well, KGPT TV, channel 2610. Good morning, welcome aboard. It's an honor to have you along today for the ride on a freedom-loving Wednesday. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. As you know, we're going into midterms less than 2 weeks away. Early voting started Monday, actually, just a couple days ago. Early voting turnout across the nation already at record highs for both Democrats and Republicans, and the media having no idea how to predict this one, which is making it even more interesting going in. And as we do, we continue to cover our what?
Decision 2018.
That's right. Decision 2018, letting you know about the facts, the information, the candidates, and people talking about the election right here on KQAM. Our election coverage brought to you by the Spectacle Shop, KRSpecs.com. Continental Truck Accessories. Visit them, 6701 South Broadway. Countryside Motors at countrysidemotors.net. Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central Avenue. Augusta Flight Center at Augusta Municipal Airport, trailers and more. Davis Liquor Outlet, 4 independently owned locations in Wichita. MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge and JD Aviation and Heartland Avionics, also at Augusta Municipal Airport. We appreciate all those guys partnering up with us as we cover the elections day in and day out. And in studio with us, we've had him on the show before. We appreciate him joining us here from the 4th Congressional District, Democratic candidate, Mr. James Thompson. James, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Andy. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing good. Appreciate you coming back on. You've been a busy guy.
I have been busy. I've been running all over the district, making sure we're getting out there, talking to voters.
Talking to voters. How you feeling right now? We're in the last 2-week stretch. It's a crazy time.
It is a crazy time. We've been campaigning for 20 months now, so with 13 days left, it's just
gets a
down
little
to
nuts.
the last bit. Yes, it does get nuts.
That's right. The momentum, the energy you guys saw with the Bernie Sanders rally you did a while ago with everybody enthusiastic, still feeling that going into it?
Very much so. I mean, we have we've got a lot of support, obviously, on the left, but we're also getting a lot of support on the right too. So I mean, we're really excited about it. We've registered 40,000 new voters in the district, so we're really feeling good about this election. So.
Sure. We talked a little bit about this last time that you came in, and the platform. I mean, Kansas has always been known as the deep red state, which I question a little bit because
not always.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, the deep red, quote unquote, even the Republicans have some tendencies to not be as conservative as what we get a reputation for, to put it that way. It's the platform that you're running on. Has it been accepted? Are people open to it when it's not necessarily the right wing conservative Republican message?
We do get a lot of acceptance from people, and I think even when people don't agree with me, they know that I'm telling them where I stand on issues. So I'm not being wishy-washy on issues. I'm being open. I'm available for questions and talking to them and willing to listen, which is the big thing. It's important that a representative gets out and speaks to people on all sides, because when you go to Washington, you're not just representing one side or the other. You're representing everybody here. And so for me, making sure I'm listening to conservatives, listening to liberals, listening to moderates, making sure that we're listening to everybody so that we can get good decisions made.
Sure. Let's talk about some of the platforms. I listened to the last debate. I believe it was, KWCH, that was a week or so ago with you and the congressman.
Correct.
And there was the idea that came up about the economy right now and the tax rates and the tax breaks from the Trump administration last year. And first off, talk about right now your thoughts on the economy. How are we doing right now?
Well, I think that our stock market's doing well, but what we never really seem to talk about are wages. Wages have remained essentially stagnant for the last 40 years, and we need to make sure that working people are enjoying the economy too, because most people don't have stocks in the stock market. Most people aren't checking their portfolio on a daily basis. So we need to remember that there's more to the economy than just the stock market. But it is doing better. I think that there are people out there that are feeling good, and we need to make sure that that continues. But we also have to make sure that our district is doing well, and that means these tariffs that are hurting us. We need to make sure that we take care of those, and need to make sure that the people in our district are doing well, which Wichita had a negative growth rate last year.
When we talk about going along with that, I mean, the economy right now, we saw the GDP growth for this year going up. I mean, what was it, 4.5% in the last quarter? People are really excited about that.
4.2.
4.2. Do you give the credit to that to the Trump tax cuts, or is it other outside factors of what has caused some of the GDP to come back up from when it was kind of stagnant?
Well, I think that there's definitely some room in there to be given Trump credit for. I mean, we have to give credit where credit's due, and I think that I'll be interested to see what the numbers look like after this quarter, because there was a lot of people that were selling things, soybeans in particular, did well right before everything kind of kicked in. I'll be interested to see how everything looks now in this different quarter. But consumer confidence can be a fickle thing, and sometimes it's just about faking it till you make it. And President Trump is doing a good job of getting out there and making sure he's always positive about the economy.
Sure. Well, and he's talking about a 2.0 tax cut, whether it's going to happen before the election and try and make it, or whether it's going to be a drive for the election to do afterwards. If you get into the seat, would you support another phase 2 of the tax cuts, or what would be your take on moving forward with the economy?
Well, the thing that the problem that I had with tax cuts before is it didn't go far enough for our working people and our small businesses. That's where I really took issue with it. The big corporations, they're always going to take care of themselves, and so making sure that small businesses and working people have the tax cuts is what is important to me. So if they have permanent tax cuts, number one, for working people, which they didn't in 1.0, will be very important. And as long as there's not any more tax cuts for the big corporations, because the big corporations, again, I mean, we have people like Amazon that are paying zero in taxes. I don't know any small businesses out here paying zero in taxes. I'm a small business owner. I don't pay zero in taxes. So, we need to make sure that, again, the working people and small business get those tax cuts. If that's what it is, then I would be supporting it.
Mm-hmm. Here's the big question. Can we get the budget under control? We looked at the appropriations bills, and we only got about 6 out of the 12 appropriation bills passed this year. We've had more spending, and a lot of people upset about the spending. We're still $23 trillion in debt as a nation. Can we get our spending under control?
Well, we're going to have to, and that's the thing that's unfortunate right now is that with that 1.5, or actually I think it's $2.2 trillion in tax cuts that we're given, with 83% of that given to the very wealthy and big corporations. inflated our deficit, I mean, in a huge way, and we need to reverse those things. We can't have, like you said, this continued spending and not having the money coming in. To do that, though, people have to work across the aisle with each other, and somewhere along the way we forgot we're all Americans, and we're not doing that. We can't even sit down and have a decent conversation about things without the name calling, and we've got to get back to that so we can get these things under control.
Sure. Well, which is why I enjoy conversations like this, because this is fun. Because I mean, the next question that I would follow up with is, I mean, that we had talked about social programs before and how we take care of individuals that need taken care of and move forward. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came out with her plan for the Medicaid for all and for some of the social programs. And the price tag that came on there was close to like $40 trillion, which we're already $23 trillion in debt. And if we focus on the social programs as much as some like to do, how do we fund that while we try and get the budget under control at the same time?
Well, what Ocasio was talking about was a Medicare for all plan. And the cost on that was $32 trillion, but we're already paying $36 trillion right now. So you're actually saving money under that Medicare for all plan when you look at the overall cost of it. The plan that I'm putting out there is making Medicare available to anyone who wants to buy in, or you can keep your private insurance. So if you want to get health care and you can't afford the private insurance, then you can buy into Medicare. Doing that, it will allow Medicare to remain solvent. It will allow young people to buy into it. They're not going to be needing the health care like older people will. It also forces competition with the insurance companies and forces them to lower down their rates. But before we do any of that, we have to make sure, and this is regardless of what kind of plan gets put in place, we have to reform Medicare, one, so that we can negotiate out drug prices with the big pharmaceutical companies and get rid of this crony capitalism that we have going on out there where people are paying off our politicians to put in place something where you can't negotiate out a drug price, because that's definitely not free market.
Sure. It sounds a little I think a lot of people might be hesitant because when they heard Barack Obama say if you want to keep the plan or keep the package or keep whatever that you want to, then you can, and then they ended up going away because when there is that government option, and I agree with you, I like more competition. That's definitely what drives down the prices, that drives the higher quality, the lower prices, and more people are able to actually be into the system in some way, shape, or form. When there's a government option that's too big, though, almost, and I think that's what we saw with Obamacare, was that it killed off the competition because with the government option, they're not looking for the profit to stay in business, and it could drive everybody else out. I mean, could you see that happening?
It possibly could happen, I guess. But, right now, and this is the thing that I keep saying, my plan, this is what I'm putting forward. If somebody's got a better plan, please come forward with it. The reason that the ACA was enacted was because healthcare costs and our health insurance industry were out of control prior to the ACA, and costs were skyrocketing, and we needed to do something. So if somebody wants to come up with a better plan, I'll sit down and listen to it. I'm not too proud to admit when I'm wrong if somebody can show me. But right now what I'm seeing is just let's tear down the ACA and no plan to have anything in place of it. We're the richest country in the world. There's absolutely zero reason why every single person in this country can't get health care. And until we have a health care plan like that, we're going to remain behind every other country in the world when it comes to our health care. And that's just unacceptable.
Sure. You mentioned trade deals before, and the trade that we've had with China and with the European Union and with Canada and Mexico, and we've been able to renegotiate some of those, not necessarily a NAFTA, but a new one with Mexico and Canada. What do you think of the new trade deal? Do you think it's going to get ag back on track in Kansas? What's your take on all this?
I was actually happy with some of the things that I saw come out of that new trade deal, in particular the worker protections that require Canada and Mexico in particular to make sure that they're paying a certain amount per hour, et cetera, and they're keeping up at least on par with our standards here, because one of the big problems we had, of course, with NAFTA was that, all right, we've got this trade agreement, and then our companies would go down to Mexico where they could pay somebody $3 an hour as opposed to paying a living wage. Now they're being forced to pay normal wages down there, which I think will help our workers here and hopefully prevent some of our companies from leaving. I think that making sure that we have a good trade deal with Canada and Mexico is important, but we've also got to make sure that we're not out there alienating our allies, and we've got to get China back on board because we ship a lot of our agricultural products over there, and if we're not careful, we're going to end up losing those markets.
Sure.
So.
We got about a minute left. I know you got to run here, but I do want to ask real quick, the big caravan moving up to the border, I know has been already a big hot topic going into the election. What's your take on this? Is it one of those to where they get to the border and, hey, the asylum seeking start letting people in? Should we Donald Trump wants to put the military down there. How should we react to this 7,000 person mob coming up to the border?
We should not be putting our military on the border to tell people that you're not going to come in. Deploying our military within the United States is not a good idea. There's a process in place. What we need to be working on is making sure that the countries that they're coming from are getting stabilized and making sure that they want to stay in their own country and not wanting to come here. So I would be in favor of making sure that we're doing that. Putting our military on the border is just not a good idea, and the Constitution doesn't allow it. So,
the idea of cutting off the funding from the countries to try and make them say, "Hey, let's not send a bunch of people up here," is that an idea that you support?
Say that one more time.
The Trump advocating for cutting the funding off from U.S. to those countries where these people are coming up from and saying either take care of your people there or we're going to start cutting off your funding from us. Do you support that idea, or should we do something different?
The thing that I worry about is that if we cut off the funding, that we end up having even more people coming in, and we create an even bigger problem. I think having discussions, sitting down with those countries, and figuring out kind of what can be done to prevent the people from wanting to leave is better. But these people aren't coming up because they're looking to be looking for something. Well, they're coming up because they are looking for something better, is the way I guess I'm wanting to say here. And we need to understand that these people are seeking homes for their kids. If I was trying to figure out what to do with my children and trying to make sure they had food to eat and in a safe place to live, hell or high water wouldn't stop me from taking them wherever I could get them safe. So
there we are. James Thompson, Democratic candidate, 4th Congressional District. We appreciate the time. We do enjoy the chat, my friend. We got to do it again.
Hey, yes, definitely. Hey, I enjoyed it, Andy. Thank you so much for having me on again, and you take care.
Absolutely. Good luck to you, and we'll chat soon. Got to take a break. Your phone calls when we come back. 21 minutes past the hour. This is The Voice of Reason.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Commonly, a D lineman's responsibility on any given play depends on whether he's playing a zero technique, one gap, or two gap technique. They would then attack the A gap or B gap in pursuit of the play. Got it? Me neither. But I love this game on the K-State Sports Network.
Your Kansas State Wildcats take on number 8 Oklahoma on Saturday. Kickoff at 2:30, pregame at 12:30, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
If you wear eyeglasses or just getting your first pair, did you know there's an eyewear shop that has 45 years of experience? Kenton Roxy Spectacle Shop has been framing faces for over 4 decades. The Spectacle Shop has hundreds of frames, including the exciting exclusive lines of Woo, Roger, and LA Eyeworks, and the State brand made right here in the USA. Your lenses? Kenton Roxy takes seriously the quality and precision of your corrected eyesight. Be independent, take a bold step for optical freedom, come see the difference for yourself. Visit Kenton Roxy Spectacle Shop, 306 North Rock Road, Wichita.
This is Blake Davis with Davis Liquor Outlet. Each one of our 4 independently owned and operated stores across Greater Wichita is proud to feature Jack Daniel's 1.75 liter for only $41.49 at Davis Liquor Outlet, and more coupons online at davisliquoroutlet.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Shippers.
And I'm Terry Mishak.
We're the owners of Continental Truck Accessories. With hunting season approaching, we'll equip your truck for the ultimate hunting adventure no matter what your game is. We carry cargo systems for your guns and equipment, dog boxes, WeatherTech floor mats, bumper and grill guards, running boards, plus bed covers, toppers, and lids for your truck. Continental Truck Accessories is the exclusive Wichita dealer for guarded spray-on bed liners.
When it comes to all your truck hunting needs, see Continental Truck Accessories, 6701 South Broadway.
Hi, this is Tony White, new owner of Augusta Flight Center. There have been a lot of changes recently at AFC. We've now got a 10-aircraft fleet, including 3 Cessna 172s, a Cessna 182, a Cherokee 6, a Piper Light Sport, and have just added a Belanca Decathlon for tail dragger endorsements. We're also about to add an FAA-approved flight sim, making training and currency more economical. Fall means cooler and smoother air, so come fly with us at Augusta Flight Center, 316-733-4080.
Having problems with your truck or trailer? MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Mound Ridge, Kansas is here to help. Get reliable trailer and truck repair services when you need it the most from technicians who have your best interest in mind. MJ's Truck Repair ASE certified technicians have years of experience in handling repair problems of all types. And MJ's does their work at competitive prices that won't burn a hole in your pocket. MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge.
Phil's Coins is the largest coin dealer in Kansas, paying top dollar for your coin collections and gold and silver jewelry. That's right, your collection is worth more at Phil's Coins. Not a little bit more, but a lot. Compare for yourself. We're talking hundreds, even thousands more for your collections at Phil's Coins. Located at 9344 West Central, Phil's Coins is local and family owned. Phil's Coins can help you start building your own precious metals portfolio too. Phil's Coins, buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity.
When you want a mower that outmaneuvers, outperforms, and outdoes the competition, the Cub Cadet Residential Zero-Turn Mowers have got you covered. Our innovative steering wheel control lets you work faster while making your line straighter. And our AeroForce cutting decks with advanced aerodynamics mean less clumping, better bagging, and the great look of a Cub Cadet signature cut. Zero-turn strength with zero comparison. Test drive American-built strength today at Trailers and More, 433 North Mays Road, 1.5 miles north of Kellogg. Your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer for expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers.
JD Aviation Services at Augusta Municipal Airport. John Sidoric, you guys handle everything from the basic aircraft maintenance, oil changes and tire checks,
to major modifications, major inspections, annual inspections, condition inspections, all of this for the private aircraft owner. And we've earned our aircraft owners one service at a time, and they just keep coming back.
JD Aviation Services at Augusta Municipal Airport.
Hi, I'm Brian Davis.
And I'm Blake Davis.
In the month of September,
take 20% off most 750 ml bourbons in our entire store at any of our 4 independently owned and operated stores across Greater Wichita.
Davis Liquor Outlet, with more coupons online
at davisliquoroutlet.com.
Minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason right here on the Big Talker KQAM on KGPT TV, on YouTube Live, youtube.com at KQAM Radio. James Thompson, 4th Congressional District Democratic candidate, joining the program in that last segment. For what?
Decision 2018.
Pay attention.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, and it's brought to you here on the KQAM Airwaves by Countryside Motors, Augusta Flight Center, Trailers and More, Davis Liquor Outlet, JD Aviation and Heartland Avionics, along with MJ's Truck Repair in Mound Ridge, Phil's Coins, The Spectacle Shop, and Continental Truck Accessories. Interesting conversation. We appreciated it very much. Look, we always love to reach across the aisle. We've been thinking about doing something like that, not necessarily with James, but something more consistent on, sparring a little bit, having some fun, and some interesting comments. I want to get your thoughts on what he had to say when it came to some of the issues, tax rates, when it came to spending, government programs, healthcare programs. I don't know if he caught it or not, but really kind of admitting that a grown government option in healthcare would kill off any competition. We've heard this before, didn't we? Barack Obama, if you want to keep your plan, you can keep your plan. If you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Let's see how well that worked. How many small clinics actually ended up closing? How many insurance companies died off, and now we have less competition? How many options did when it comes to specialists, and when it comes to testing, and when it comes to the care, and when it comes to pharmaceutical? How many of those actually died off because of Obamacare and the government option, where it's just there in the marketplace to create more competition? But if the government's not there looking for profit the way that everybody else is, then they don't have to set their rates comparable and competitively to the rest of the market, and they kill everybody else off. That's what happened, and that's what we're dealing with now. What do we say that the fix is? More insurance companies in a market to create more competition. Because James was right in that sense. When you have more competition, it lowers the prices, it raises the quality. Why? Because the business needs to maintain in the market and needs customers in order for it to survive. It cannot survive without customers. And the customers aren't going to go to you if you have bad quality and if you have high prices. It's not going to happen. which is why they said, well, let's do the government option. We'll have the option there, so the people that want to, that can't afford the regular stuff, they'll get the government option. But that's not how it works out. It crumbles. It kills off everybody else. Everybody then needs to jump on the government program, and then the government program is like, oh, hey, now we're a little overburdened, and now we can't actually take care of everybody the way that we said. So that was kind of an interesting conversation. Well, I want to touch on that when we come back, but kind of a fun, interesting perspective going into this race for Decision 2018. We'll take a bottom of the hour break. The phones are lit up. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to you as soon as we come back. Fun conversations to be had right here on The Voice of Reason. We love it. I dig it. This is what I live for every single day, baby. And again, we want to thank everybody partnering up with us here for our election coverage here on the KQAM airwaves. Speaking of election night, I will be doing reports at the top and bottom of each hour as the results come in, along with Salem Radio News, Mike Gallagher, Hugh Hewitt, all those guys. They're going to be doing coverage from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. here on the KQAM airwaves live to cover the national election results. So we got your coverage for election night right here on KQAM. That and more coming up. It's Open Line. See you when we come back. This is The Voice of Reason.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
A suspicious package has been found near the home of Hillary and Bill Clinton in a New York City suburb. Federal police and the Secret Service are investigating at this hour. This follows earlier this week an explosive device left at the New York home of political contributor George Soros. It's not clear if the two cases are connected. In South Carolina, Mega Millions lotto fever has made someone rich after a winning ticket was sold in the Palmetto State.
South Carolina is one of 8 states where lottery winners can stay anonymous. The lump sum payment option for this historic jackpot was valued at roughly $878 million. Across the U.S., 36 ticket holders picked 5 of the winning numbers. They're each entitled to at least $1 million. I'm Steve Kastenbaum.
The Red Sox open the World Series with an 8-4 win over the Dodgers. Game 2 is tonight at Fenway Park. First pitch, 8:09 Eastern. I'm John Trout.
So here's a story you might relate to. I used to post to job boards, only to end up with hundreds of resumes to sort through.
It took weeks to go through all of those resumes.
Just to find a handful of people
who were right for my job.
It was overwhelming. That old process was
not smart. I mean, it's not easy to find a
network architect,
financial analyst,
childcare assistant.
But then I went to ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring.
ZipRecruiter did the work for me. Their powerful matching technology scanned thousands of resumes to identify people with the right skills, education, and experience for my job.
And actively invited them to apply.
So I could hire qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try ZipRecruiter now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Jurors are deciding the fate of a man accused of killing a 3-year-old Wichita boy found encased in a concrete tomb in a South Wichita home last year. The jury began deliberations yesterday in the first-degree murder trial of 41-year-old Stephen Bodine. He's accused in the 2017 death of Evan Brewer. The Wichita Eagle reports prosecutors showed jurors photos and video of the child chained up in the basement of the rental home where the boy lived with his mother and Bodine. A federal jury yesterday convicted Wichita Dr. Stephen Henson of unlawfully distributing prescription drugs, according to U.S. Attorney Stephen McAllister. During the trial, prosecutors presented evidence that Henson, who ran the Wichita Men's Clinic, wrote prescriptions in return for cash. Prosecutors say he also used post-dated prescriptions, wrote prescriptions without medical need. Sentencing has been set for a later date. Mid-America Network News. Having problems with your truck or trailer? MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Mound Ridge, Kansas is here to help. Get reliable trailer and truck repair services when you need it the most from technicians who have your best interest in mind. MJ's Truck Repair ASE certified technicians have years of experience in handling repair problems of all types. And MJ's does their work at competitive prices that won't burn a hole in your pocket. MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Today, the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Why? Eugene, go.
I think because Ford engineers always add new stuff, so the competition can't catch up.
Whoa, Eugene sounds like an expert.
Well, I got a store that sells exclusively bar-raising merchandise, like a calendar with an extra month.
An extra month?
Extrebuary. It has 32 days.
So you can appreciate the new 2018 F-150 raising the bar with available bliss with trailer coverage. It monitors your trucks and your trailer's blind spots.
How about our new bar-raising poker chips? You can play with them or eat them. So,
The new 2018 F-150 raises the bar with auto start-stop, standard on all engines, and an available 10-speed transmission.
We have sandals with available built-in socks.
And we are out of time.
Huge in Oregon.
This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Driver assist features like Bliss are supplemental and do not replace the driver's attention, judgment, and the need to control the vehicle.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly cloudy, a high near 64, 20% chance of showers after 4, rain expected tonight, low around 48, rain likely tomorrow before lunch, a chance of showers in the afternoon, cloudy with a high near 56. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:35, it's currently 52 degrees.
When taxes go up, so do our tempers.
Oh my God, no!
Fighting for Kansans every day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, welcome into it. 35 minutes past the hour. It is great to have you along today for the ride on a freedom-loving Wednesday. Welcome in 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. I'm noticing a pattern, and it's a pattern really on both sides of the aisle. The Democrats talk about wanting to cut taxes for the middle class until the spending comes in, and then they say, well, then we can't really lower taxes for the middle class. We'd like to, but we can't do it. And I've heard that from numerous different candidates over the last few weeks. And then Republicans, I mean, at least we're consistent as well. And we say we want to cut taxes and cut spending, and that way both of them coincide. And we'll cut taxes or cut spending to match what the revenue is going to be for the tax receipts that come in, instead of matching tax receipts for the spending that goes out. There is a difference. There is a difference between those. It's kind of fun. Open lines to you, and the phones are lit up, so let's go right to them, shall we? 316-721-8255, line at number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, this is Myron, if I can get the phone to work.
Yes, sir. What's going on, sir?
Well, I wanted to compliment the one Democrat that has BAM in big letters on his thing, because that's the mantra of the Democrat Party, by any means necessary. So if they have to form... If they have to form a mob and throw you out of the restaurant, or punch you in the face, or get in the elevator and get in your face, I mean, to me, the Democrat Party has shown itself in the last 2 or 3 months. They're vindictive. They were vicious in the Kavanaugh hearing.
Absolutely. I mean, by any means necessary. I like that, BAM. And now, of course, I had made the joke of, why would you put BAM on your yard sign if no one knows who that is? I mean, are people going to be able to see that on the voting booth in the precinct? Be like, oh, there's BAM. Okay. I don't know how BAM and telling you to Google it, go Google it, is going to help you in any shape or form in the election. But I like that, by any means necessary. Because they do whatever it takes to get elected. And you're right, they have gotten forceful, they have gotten violent, they've gotten vicious, they've gotten mean. You've heard about the smear ads are going after Republicans in the state legislative races. It's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah, the one thing I picked up yesterday, knocking on doors and encouraging people to vote, there's a woman who, she's not going to vote for Republicans because the Republicans aren't doing anything. And she said, and I know like what Ron Estes has accomplished, but the newspaper won't report it, so you don't know. And she said she wasn't, she thought she would vote for Democrats because the Republicans did nothing. And I wanted to say, well, I'd rather vote for somebody that does nothing than vote for a Democrat, because we know what they're going to do.
That's a great point, Myron. I appreciate that. And do nothing. Well, we only have a 4.2% GDP growth. That's cool. We only have low unemployment rate for massive amounts of individuals. That's cool. We only have lower taxes. That's cool. We only have a stronger border-ish. We're getting there. That's cool. We've only moved our embassy over to Jerusalem. That's cool. No, we haven't done anything. That's right. We haven't done anything. Crazy Republicans. Let's go back to the phones. We've only nominated and actually put on 2 more conservatives onto the U.S. Supreme Court. That's cool. Whatever. Let's go back to the phones. Line number 2. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, Andy. This is Jeff.
Jeff, how are you, sir?
Good. So a few minutes ago, I turned on the radio and heard this dull, low-energy person espousing leftist talking points. And it wasn't until the end I realized you had on Jim Thompson there. So, he sounds so reasonable saying things like, I'm willing to listen to another plan for health care insurance and all that. And, he has to say that because liberals have to, come with a sneaky way of sounding so reasonable and so willing to have a conversation. But, it's not about having a plan on health insurance. It's something as simple as, how about we don't make any health care insurance plan illegal? How about we allow freedom? He makes the claim, like you pointed out, more competition will lower prices. Well, yeah, exactly. So why not unleash the free market on health insurance plans?
Right.
Take away the restrictions and the mandates to require certain things and coverage and all that. I mean,
and not make the government option be the number one competitor in the market because it doesn't have to compete, because it doesn't have to set a minimum in order to receive a profit to stay in business. And just like as we mentioned, I mean, that's what we heard before. We're very skeptical of talk like this. If you want to keep your insurance plan, you can, because that's what we heard from Barack Obama, and look how well it turned out. The government options killing off the competition. So I agree with what he said, and you're right. I mean, it's a bit of a change of tone to some degree, saying, yeah, we want competition in the market instead of a Medicare for all mentality, because competition in the market is good. The government's going to kill that, not actually create it, and he kind of admitted that.
Well, he knows it's a conservative area that he's trying to get votes from, so he's changing his rhetoric accordingly. So he's being a good politician in that sense, in terms of he knows his audience. But don't be deceived by that. I mean, that guy's gonna vote left wing on everything. Well, I had to comment on one other thing that he said. He made the comment about the Constitution prevents us from deploying the military in the United States. We could deploy the military outside the United States. President Trump could put the military on the Mexican side of the border. Do whatever you have to. You don't have to violate posse comitatus or, Article 4 of the Constitution gives clear direction on this.
Sure.
The president can protect the United States and protect our borders, and you can deploy troops. I'd love to see the argument from Mexico if we start deploying troops on the Mexican side of the border to prevent them from coming in, start complaining about their border encroachment.
Yeah.
I think we'd love to see that play out.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, they just allowed 7,000 plus invaders coming into their country from that side. Why wouldn't they allow invaders to come in from this side if that's what they're okay with? And they're just saying, if they're the ones that are supporting now open borders, and apparently it's okay if we do so. Not to mention, though, but if you remember, we just deployed National Guard from different states and asking National Guard from different states to go down and help enforce the border, and that is allowed as well. And the National Guard is considered a branch of the military.
Yeah, well, the National Guard, I mean, that's their job, is protecting the nation.
Right. So why can't we send, I mean, if President Trump says we're going to send military down there, send a whole bunch of National Guard down from each state and protect the border that way.
Yeah, so, these people like Thompson out there saying these things about, it's a violation of the Constitution. It's like he's lying, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's just trying to be deceptive. It's dishonest. This is why you can't have, debates with these people or confrontations or even discussions, because they don't even act in good faith. They won't even have a conversation in a way that's a back and forth.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I enjoy the conversation. Jeff, I appreciate it. I want to seek in some more calls here, but you're absolutely right, and I appreciate it. You hit it right on. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the dialogue and debates, but you're right. I mean, it is campaign season, and, I mean, there is a different crowd, and he realizes that, and other candidates realize that as well, and they play to the crowd that they're talking to, which is here a predominantly conservative listenership. And, some of the stuff he did say sounds good, but I haven't heard that on the campaign trail the rest of the time. When you bring in Bernie Sanders that's saying Medicare for all, when you bring in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and she says Medicare for all, and this is going to be the massive blanket of social programs, then you can't say that we're going to be advocating for just a Medicare option that's going to create more competition. That's just not the case. I mean, come on, dude. Let's go back to the phones. Appreciate it, though, very much. Let's go back to the phone to your line number 3. Good morning. What's your name?
Sue.
Hey, good morning, Sue. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Just wanted to chime in for a second with Mr. Thompson's crazy statement that putting military on the border is not a constitutional thing to do, when Article 1, Section 8 says specifically that the government can call the militia to repel invasions. So maybe he's just playing with words again here because he doesn't consider this thing an invasion. But, you know, I don't like to play word games here.
This is our border, and we can protect it however we need to protect it because this is our land, and that's just what we have to do. You're absolutely right.
Well, the way I see it is this guy wants us to send him to Washington to represent our state and to take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. And he's sitting here either, like the guy before said, lying or ignorant of this fact when he stands there and says that you can't send the military to the border because it's unconstitutional. So that tells me most of what I need to know, even though I already knew he shouldn't go, that he has no business going because he's not going to be in a position to live up to that oath.
Mm-hmm. It's very troubling, and it's concerning to me when there's a group that is so open to advocacy of just people are coming to the border, therefore we need to let them in. We know the caravan's coming. What was the story? And I haven't seen the story headline itself, but I've heard people talk about it, about already in Mexico they pulled almost 100 different ISIS fighters outside of the 7,000 crowd mob that's coming up to the border as we're trying to pitch this innocence of women and children coming up for a better life. How are they getting the money and the funds to do this as a massive caravan? And oh, by the way, the individuals they are pulling out that are potential threats, and we're supposed to just waltz on in and say, okay, well, you made the trek, welcome in. You know, it's a long journey. I guess you can come in now because you paid your dues by coming across a crazy land like Mexico. To me, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and we have the leaders of Guatemala and Honduras saying that a big chunk of their people have come back because they were subject to the crime, the beatings, the assaults, the robberies, etc., of the people in this caravan, and it wasn't worth it to them to try to go forward. So we're ending up with embedded reporters confirming that we've got people of all nationalities, the majority of which are young males who have a giant chip on their shoulder. And, you know, this is just insanity to think that somehow putting a few women and babies at the front of the line to be a human shield for them should open the door and let everybody come in.
Well, that's true. And I tell you what, if they try and break through our border like they did with Mexico, then they're going to have something else coming to them because it just ain't going to work. Sue, I love it. Appreciate it very much. Let's sneak in another one here, shall we? Line at number 4. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning. This is Bruce.
Bruce, what's going on, sir?
Hey, you guys are talking about posse comitatus. That has to do with, or had to do with, in the past tense, using American troops against American civilians. President Obama signed a 2011 or 12 National Defense Service Act that repealed posse comitatus. So they can use the United States military on American citizens anytime they want now.
That is very true, and I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, we haven't really focused on that aspect of it, but you're right. But again, that allows the deployment of troops within the U.S. Now, whether that's right or that's wrong, we can disagree or agree on that. I think that we should just put a bunch of National Guard down there, build up a wall of individuals and say, yeah, there's no way that you're coming through here. And if you do, then welcome and say hello to my rubber bullet friend. And that's really what we need to do.
But what's more expensive, paying all those guardsmen and keeping them away from their families and their regular jobs, or just, you know, shooting a few of them and making them go back?
Well, I mean, there is that, and I think that's been an option that's come out. Now, if we end up, and here's the problem that I have, if we end up shooting them with actual bullets and we end up killing a couple of these individuals, then we run into a very deep issue, a political issue, to where that will damage the Republicans, that will damage Trump very, very much so from the political standpoint. You're right that it would deter them and they would start heading back potentially, or that would cause a crazy riot there, but then you won't imagine what would happen when it comes to human rights violations that they're going to go after President Trump for, when they would try and find more ways to justifications to impeach him, to do whatever they can. That would be a media frenzy, and we don't want to see that happen. I want to find a way to do this to where we can at least show that we're strong and that we're not going to let them bully us by pushing their way through, but no one gets killed in the process. That's going to be a big issue. So I appreciate that very much. So as we're talking with Democrats, and we're talking to different Democrats in the area here and nationwide, I mean, it's really a good idea, what do you think, to get a spokesperson for the Democrats and talk about their platform, right? And here's the latest from the Democrat platform and from the Democrats' constituency.
Hi, I'm a spokesperson for the Democratic Party, and I'm here to tell you why you need to vote blue this November. Democrats are the party of love and tolerance. We promote inclusion and acceptance, peace, and goodwill. Republicans don't care about any of these things. They just want to talk about record unemployment, the economy, and keeping communities safe. Fascists. Democrats have positive, practical priorities, like abolishing the Electoral College, eliminating due process, and banning hate speech. These are the values of the American people. Well, at least Americans that live in San Francisco and New York. Republicans often use fear-mongering rhetoric like Constitution or liberty. Democrats condemn such language as divisive and instead focus on more unifying topics like repealing the Second Amendment or kneeling for the national anthem. Democrats are the party of equality, so much so that we insist upon unconditionally believing women and disbelieving men because, well, feminism. If you ask us to explain this logically, we will scream in your face and call you a misogynist. Republicans want to take away a woman's sacred right to choose to have her child decapitated inside the womb and torn apart limb by limb with forceps. Democrats celebrate the right to violently murder your child because we're compassionate. Democrats believe that women are powerful and independent. They are also helpless victims of the patriarchy who require government intervention to succeed. Any woman who disagrees with us on this is a self-hating, stupid bimbo. And you know, it's time someone was finally brave enough to say this. Republicans are racist. Democrats have the same positive message for minorities that we have for women. You're a victim, and you're useful to us. If you disagree, we'll insult your intelligence, but it's for your own good. Republicans want to stop certain people from coming into this country. They cite the infiltration of gang violence or opioids or sex trafficking as reasons to stop illegal immigration. But Democrats accept these as the natural consequences of opening up the borders, which, of course, is the more loving thing to do. Democrats recognize that the key to a better tomorrow is to look forward, not backward. That's why we reject capitalism and all of its greed and instead opt for socialism, which has worked so well every time it's been tried. Democrats are the party of the common people, the poor and the marginalized, the weak and defenseless. While Republicans promise freedom, we promise free stuff. That's how we win over young people. Our goal is to make the government work for you so you don't have to work at all. Republicans are always pushing religion in our faces. We reject their bigotry. Religious people are idiots. Democrats would much rather you sacrifice yourself on the altar of progressivism. The truth is, as the party of empathy, we're just better than everyone else. That's why we spend so much time telling people who don't align with our agenda that they're not just wrong, but that they're bad people. We still haven't figured out that this condescension is what lost us the 2016 election. Nevertheless, we're confident that through censorship, emotional manipulation, and continued bullying that we'll eventually get our way. Why? Because we care about you. So much so that we're willing to wear you down until you fear getting silenced, doxxed, or fired because you don't agree with our agenda. That's love. I'm the spokesperson for the Democratic Party. Vote for us in November.
Now you know the platform of the Democrats and the spokesperson right there. I got to say, that was Allie with CRTV and ConservativeReview.com. She does great stuff and does a lot of satire and well put. I mean, there you are, the spokesperson for the Democrats. We'll take some more phone calls when we come back. Got to take a break, wrapping up the show today right here on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier. Opening markets on KQAM, brought to you by Schmidt & Sons of Mount Hope and Winfield.
Starting today lower in the grains, but higher in the livestock. Let's take a look at the markets. We'll check in with Brady Charles at Schweiderman Incorporated for all the information. Good morning, Brady.
Good morning. Well, lower overnight session in the grain market, and the livestock market has opened the day higher. October live cattle are up 37 at 113.15. December up 50 at 117.65. February up 40 at 122.32. October feeders are down 7 cents at 155. November's up a dime at 155.97. January's up 32 at 151.22. December lean hogs are up $1.10 at 55.65. In the grain markets, December Kansas City wheat's down 4.5 at 503. March is down 4.5 at 528 3/4. July is down a nickel at 548 1/4. December Chicago's down 5 1/4 at 503 3/4. July's down 3 3/4 at 544 3/4. December spring wheat's down a half at 584 1/2. In the corn, December's down 1 1/4 at 369. March is down 1 1/2 at 381. July's down 1 1/4 at 394 1/2. November beans are down 3 at 854 1/4. January's down 3 at 868. March is down 3.5 at 881. Bean oil is down 7 at 28.69, and the meal's down 230 at 308.40. And the Dow Jones is in the green, up 77 at 25,269. This has been Brady Charles from Sweeterman Incorporated. For questions on these markets, any other markets, and all your marketing needs, please give us a call at 800-272-9131 or visit us online at upthelimit.com.
Are you ready to maximize your uptime in the field and save 15% while doing it? This is Leroy the Tractor Man from Schmidt & Sons, offering big savings and special discounts until December 31st on all AGCO PM360 maintenance plans. Bring your equipment into Schmidt & Sons for an AGCO PM360 inspection, inspected by our factory-trained certified technicians, and you will receive peace of mind knowing your equipment will operate at peak performance, minimizing costly repairs, increasing uptime, and improving your trade-in value. Plus, repairs done in our service department entitle you to 1-year warranty on parts and 6 months warranty on labor. Right now, the deal is even sweeter because with your inspection, not only can you receive up to 15% off on AGCO parts, with approved credit, you can receive 0% interest and no payments for 180 days on repairs of $1,000 or more. Give us a call at either the Mount Hope or Winfield location to sign up for the AGCO PM360 maintenance inspection and get the peace of mind you need and deserve all season long. Or find us on the web at schmittinc.com.
Hey, did you see my engagement ring?
Oh my gosh, where did he get that?
Athena Jewelry at 219 East Douglas in Wichita. They have everything from watches like Citizen, Seiko, Bulova, custom-made engagement rings, diamond stud earrings, custom-designed jewelry.
That is fantastic. How do I get a hold of them?
You can visit them at 219 East Douglas, or you can call them at 267-0205.
Well, why hasn't my boyfriend gone there?
Athena Jewelry, 219 East Douglas. The world's a scary place. What are we going to do? Welcome into the Voice of Reason, wrapping up the program today. We got just a few minutes left right here on a Wednesday, and let's try and sneak in a few more calls, shall we? Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, Andy, this is Helen again.
Helen, you got about 20 seconds. Go for it.
Okay. Does this sound like Jim Thompson? Marxism, the political and economic ideas of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels has developed into a system of thought that gives class struggle a primary role in leading society from bourgeois democracy under capitalism to a socialist society and thence to communism.
Well, that definitely sounds like something that the left side of the aisle has advocated for a long time, and in many cases, yeah, James Thompson has gone on board with that. The class warfare, got to tax the rich, got to pay, got to go after the rich. The rich are evil, the corporations are, and we need the government option to create competition, but then kill off the competition, which is the reality of it, though. Love it. Appreciate it, Helen. Let's sneak in one more here. We got about a minute left. Good morning. What's your name?
Doug.
Hey, Doug. How's it going, sir?
All right. That group that's coming up from Mexico is invaders. And if Trump doesn't call out the National Guard and the military to stop an invading group coming to our country, then Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah and ISIS or Iran or anybody could get a big group of 7,000 people and invade our border.
I mean, all you got to do is
he can't let it happen. He's got to call out the military.
Yeah, get a couple thousand people. I appreciate it, Doug. You're right. Get a couple thousand people to make a big media thing saying that you're coming here because you're being oppressed in your country. Come out here, and then we just have to let you in. I mean, we're just the open, lovey-dovey country where anything goes, and you can just come right up, knock on our door, and say, "Oh yes, sure, come into our house." I mean, we just have to let you in, right? Regardless of what your intentions are. Yeah, that makes total sense. Give me a break. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for all the calls, conversations. We love it. We'll continue it on tomorrow on a Thursday, the pre-Friday celebration. We got more goodies for you then as we're getting to heat up one more full week before election time. It's getting to be a little fun, ain't it? This is your show. It's always time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is the voice of reason. Everybody have a wonderful Thursday.
Radical liberal James Thompson is unfit to represent Kansas. James Thompson is an unrepentant liberal who supports allowing late-term abortions and even funding abortions with your tax dollars, and an unrepentant socialist who wants to force Kansans into total government-controlled health care and double your income taxes to pay for it. It's no wonder James Thompson has an F rating from the NRA, because he supports requiring Kansans to register their guns with the federal government. James Thompson, unfit to represent Kansas. There is a better choice. Ron Estes, a champion for Kansas values. Ron Estes has been endorsed by Kansans for Life and the Kansas Farm Bureau for always protecting our way of life. And Ron Estes has been A-rated and endorsed by the NRA for defending our heritage and right to self-defense. Ron Estes, a champion for the Second Amendment, farmers, families, and innocent life.
I'm Ron Estes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Estes for Congress.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios. Rusty Eck Ford, family-owned, customer-friendly. This is the Big Talker, 102.5 FM and 1480 AM, KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Heartland Avionics and JD Aviation, your aircraft maintenance partners at Augusta Municipal Airport. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Good Wednesday morning. Jury deliberation is underway in the murder trial of Evan Brewer. The state and defense yesterday rested their cases against Stephen Bodine. Bodine is charged with first-degree murder in Brewer's death. The jury began deliberating yesterday in the first-degree murder trial. Wichita Eagle reports that prosecutors showed